Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Hey, Yannis Pappas. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, brother.
Yeah.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Not much, man. Just, trying to dodge this Delta.
Yeah, or the Gamma, or whatever
the Gamma, the
whatever.
Rays,
Yeah.
the Delta, the
It's wild
Alpha.
out there.
Yeah.
It's wild out there.
It's wild, yeah.
It's hard to know what's right and what's wrong. Some people say, don't worry about it. The Delta's, it's less dangerous but more contagious. And then some people say, no. People are getting really sick.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Vaccinated people are getting sick. In Europe, not in Europe, in Israel, there was a study that was released. It was something like, they're like the most vaccinated country. Israel is, apparently. I think they have somewhat close to, I'll read it here. I think it's close to like 90% of the people have been vaccinated. And so now they have a lot of people that are in the hospital that are vaccinated.
yeah, because I guess the more people that get vaccinated, the more people will have those breakthrough infections. What I love about now is like, I have an opinion on
80% of all COVID patients are previously vaccinated in the hospital.
Wow, I thought that was like corrected to like 40%.
Oh,
It's right there. If it's
know.
on the phone, it's got to be true.
Must be.
It must be true at this point, yeah.
Is it Fauci approved?
If it's
Does it have
Fauci
the
approved,
stamp?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, if this thing comes back, just be podcasting.
Yeah, just lock down and have HEPA filters everywhere. And,
Yeah.
like March of 2020, I remember thinking, like, this could be some Mad Max, like, Road Warrior type shit where the streets are empty. And then when they started looting, that was one of the things that really freaked me out, the looting in L.A., when no one was doing anything about it, when they're smashing windows and running into stores and stealing clothes and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and who knows? That could come back. That could come back again. Round two.
Oh,
just
for
like me
sure.
coming back here. Ding, ding.
It's
Round
not.
two.
It's not likely going to happen around here. There's
Yeah.
far too many firearms.
Yes.
This is the good thing about overarmed places.
Yeah.
They're not good places to loot.
No, I bet you there's a lot of people who are on the left who are rethinking the Second Amendment and their view on it just because of the context has changed. Yeah.
My own friends.
Yeah.
Friends that were very anti-gun were asking me to borrow guns. When the shit started hitting the fan in L.A., they were asking to borrow guns. And I was like, you can't borrow a gun. Because
Yeah.
if you shoot someone with the borrowed gun, I am in trouble.
Right. Right.
And especially in L.A., because there's weird laws. Like, I don't even think you're allowed to shoot someone in your home unless you're in danger. And then you have to prove that you're in danger.
Yeah, then you
I
have
think.
you have to apologize for whatever
Yes.
part of the systematic problem you contributed to why this person broke into your house.
Oh, I didn't think
I
about
think you have to do that in court. Yeah, you got to stand up and say, you know what, I'm sorry. Depends on who you are, but you got to say, I'm sorry for contributing to whatever historical factors have led to this crime.
Maybe you could fly a couple of, like, inclusive flags outside your house.
That's actually part of what you
People
got to
let you
do.
slide.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new flag? There's a new pride flag.
I got them all out there. I got Black Lives Matter. I have a rainbow flag. I got it all.
Rainbow's not enough anymore.
It's like a new security system. I'm like, whatever. I'm just like, hey, man, this property is whatever.
Yeah, I'm whatever you want me to
Yeah.
be if you don't burn it.
If you don't burn it, but then if they come in, I did buy a gun.
Did you?
I got a gun, yeah.
What kind of guns you got?
It's a 22. I think I have
For
to say
real?
it like that. Rifle, yeah.
You got a 22. Are you shooting squirrels?
No, I'm not shooting squirrels. I'm just shooting. I've gone to the range a few times.
Yeah, but why do you have such a low caliber rifle?
I knew. That's why I felt bad even bringing it up in front of you. It's like taking my dick out when it's limp.
Right after you got out of the shower, cold shower.
Yeah.
But why such a low caliber?
Because I'm a beginner, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I got into, I'm not gonna try to like rear naked choke you. If we started rolling around, I'm gonna try to squeeze your dick or something.
Honestly,
I'm inexperienced.
the best gun for self-defense, for home invasion type shit, is a shotgun, because you don't have to be that specific. Shotguns, they have like a big wide spray.
As Bill Burr said, got a spread.
Is
That
that
joke,
what he says?
he had that joke where he goes, you got to get the shotguns, has a spread. It spreads.
Well, that's why they made it illegal to have a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah,
Because a sawed-off shotgun, you essentially can spray a whole room.
right.
It spreads out.
I picture like probably your home. Is your home like 007 where there's just like a hidden gun in every room? And you're just like, if someone comes in, you're rolling around.
I have had just given to me, not the guns that I bought, but been given to me, 13 guns since I moved here.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to make that 14? It's an odd number. It's unlucky 13.
I don't think it is.
You think
I
it's
like
lucky?
13.
Yeah. You
I've
like to
always
push
been
it.
a fan of 13.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's like these people out here just give you guns.
Yeah, that's like a welcome gift, right?
So I have a safe. I have a couple of gun safes. It's just weird. It's the gun thing is weird because, like, I like going to the range. I find it it's somewhat oddly relaxing to point and shoot. You know, as long as you have earmuffs on, you're protecting your ears and eye goggles, and you know what you're doing. You're following gun safety protocol. I like it. I like practicing.
It's
I don't
like
want to
yoga.
shoot anybody. No,
Yeah.
that's definitely not like yoga. It's similar to archery in a lot of ways. It's
Well, the
similar
way
to
you
archery.
described it is like very calming. Yeah, it is calming though. There's something about because you're concentrating on focusing. You're like you're in the moment. You're not thinking about anything. So it is kind of oddly spiritual.
Yeah. Have you gone to gun ranges before?
I have gone. Yeah,
They're fun, right?
They're fun, but you're right. When I rolled in with my buddy Paul Verzi because we got the guns at the same time. It's a funny story. He bought
Did he
a gun.
get a 22 as well?
He got a 22. We got them together. And the guy
Did you guys kiss while you're buying them?
No, but we clapped guns like that. But the guy, we went to Dick's, and because the pandemic was starting, much like you were seeing all these images on screen, and we live close to each other. And he was like, let's go get a gun. And he didn't tell his wife.
Oh, boy.
So he went in, and all the guns were cleared out. And this is New York, so people were arming up. And the things that were left were these rifles, and the guy behind the counter goes, this is a good starter gun. So he made us feel like a little, he's like, I think he called it a beginner gun. And then we were both like, no, give us something. We're not beginners. We try to play it off. Like, I shoot all the time, I shoot people. So we ended up, he's like, because we felt like we were buying BB guns when he said that.
Right.
But then he walked us upstairs. In New York, you can't have the gun and the ammo in the trunk together. You have to have the ammo in the car and the gun in the back. So he walked us up and put him in his trunk. Yeah. And then we drove him home, and he told his wife he bought a gun. His wife was pretty pissed.
Was she?
Yeah, because he didn't tell her. It's a pretty big purchase. You got to it's not like Texas where you're born and they cut the umbilical cord and then they put your hand in a gun.
Is the wife opposed to it, or did she just want to be informed?
She wanted to be informed. She wanted to be part
reasonable.
of it. Yeah.
That's reasonable. Mm-hmm. If she ever saw a 22 go off, she'd be like, oh,
yeah,
shoot me in the foot.
Go
ahead, shoot me with that thing.
I didn't tell my wife either. I told her I was going out to get watermelons because we were having a party. So I came back just holding a watermelon and a gun. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, I got a gun. But my wife's from Long Island, so her and her family were very happy that I got a gun. Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah,
Long Island's a different animal.
Long Island's like a colony of
Kentucky.
Yeah. You go there, it's just a different accent, but they say the same. They're like, what virus? What are you, crazy?
I really love Long Island. I've always loved performing out there. But it's always been a thing. Like when I lived in the city, I didn't live in the city. I lived in New Rochelle. But when I would travel, if I do gigs in the city, is that your watch going off? How dare you?
Fucking sorry.
When I was living in New York and I would do gigs in Long Island, people that worked in the city all the time would treat gigs on Long Island like you might as well be going to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What do you do? You're traveling to Long Island to do comedy? You can do comedy right here.
Yeah.
Why would you do that when you can work in the city?
Yeah. It's just it's a different demographic, different politics, different person. They don't leave there. So it's kind of like going to another country because they're unaware of what's going on in the city. They don't go to the city.
If they come in, they go to Peter Luger's.
Yeah,
right?
Or they go to they go out in Brooklyn, and that's like going out in the city.
Yeah, we're going to the city. We're going to go to Brooklyn.
We're going to Bay Ridge.
Steaks.
Yeah, we're going out there, Bay Ridge. It's a nice place there. Yeah.
Yeah. Brooklyn's an odd duck too. When we do UFCs in Brooklyn, I'm always like, wow, this is there's no place like this place.
That's where I'm from.
So interesting.
Yeah.
It's pre-pandemic. I don't know what it's like now because I had Hamilton Morris on. He's from Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. He's a drug expert. He's a really fascinating guy, but he was telling me it's very dark. He's like, I go running, and he goes, and there's dog shit everywhere because no one's picking up their dog shit, and stacks of garbage, and all the public utilities have kind of laxed, so a lot of the garbage pickup is not as good as it used to be, and he goes, and it's kind of dangerous. It's it's not what it used to be just a year and a half ago.
I was just telling Jamie before, it's it's starting to feel like the Brooklyn that I grew up in. You're starting to hear crimes that are similar to the ones from the 80s, which were just wilding kids. I remember there was just wilding kids.
I remember that.
Yeah.
The term wilding.
They used to call them wilding kids, feral kids, wilding kids. And it was true. There'd be just a pack of kids. You'd turn a corner, there was kids there. You were just like, you just took your hat off and gave it to them. You know, you just took your Nautica jacket off and you like folded it up for them like you were gift wrapping at Macy's and just handed it. And it just, you were robbed, and there was just packs of kids. And recently, this off-duty firefighter was like attacked by like 40 kids who were just like.
Is that the guy with the dog?
He was with the dog, yeah.
That was in a park.
Yeah, Queens.
What was the story behind that?
The story was just wilding kids. They would just did it to be wilding. Yeah, I think they screamed the slogans they were saying were kind of like that. It's fight night. It's just like. And
they beat the fuck out of that poor guy.
Beat the fuck out of a kid, and just cops are like, I have a cop who lives close to me where I live, and he's like, he was on the plain clothes unit that they kind of disbanded, which was stupid, and now he's like doing something else, and you know, he's like, look, cops, their morale is down. They don't want to. They don't want to do it. Everyone hates them. They don't want to risk it. Somebody starts running, they're like, I'm not going to chase this guy, because like, you know, he turns around, he throws a camera on, or say he reaches for something. You know, it's just they don't want to deal with it. And they feel like everyone hates them right now. So it's like, that's scary. Like if you call 911 and they just like take their time because they're not. Yeah. They feel like, am I going to be received when I'm, or am I? Gonna, is there going to be someone going, hey, what you doing? Right. What you doing? Yeah. You know. Yeah. Their morale's down.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on, and I don't know how that gets fixed in any short period of time. I think that's a long-term recovery project, if at all. Like, it's real weird because I've never seen such a dip in our society before as during this pandemic. And some of it's understandable, but some of it is like, it's a perception, the perception of the police, the perception of society at large. It's just very different than it's ever been before.
I think it has a lot to do with us adapting to the internet, and technology. It's fairly new, and everyone's getting their information from charismatic people who want to be on camera. Whereas, like the really smart, nuanced people, like those old school mob bosses who were, you get caught if you're flaunting yourself, John Gotti style. But the people who were behind the scenes, like doctors, politicians, like those are the people who were in it, doing it. And we used to have Walter Cronkites and Edward R. Murrows, and now we got guys just going up there on the internet like with their phone and making these categorical, charismatic statements, and people that are really they're simplified and just really generalized, and people are just following them. And now we've become like two full countries that hate each other. It used to be you at a time of war or something, you came together a little bit to support whoever the guy is in office. Now it's like there's people who wouldn't support Biden at all, no matter what. I mean, even if China was storming Malibu and set up their captain's quarters in Reese Witherspoon's beach home, we'd still be hating each other, and we're so disjointed and disunified. And I think it's because we're online.
I think that's a big part of it. And I also think what you're saying about people being charismatic is very true. That these charismatic, influential people that are getting attention from posting outrageous things online, constantly posting things about either the left or the right, like how pathetic they are and how foolish they are and how arrogant they are, and just making these really polarized teams. And I don't subscribe to that. I know you don't subscribe to that kind of shit. It's dumb. It's like there's great people on both sides. There's people that have a lot of opinions that I don't agree with at all, but then I agree with them on many things. And I like to just treat people like people and think of their ideas as individuals or individual ideas. I don't want a collective group of ideas that I have to subscribe to. Right. I mean, I think that's a real problem with people, whether you're on the left or the right. You could predict, if you can ask someone real specific questions, like how do you feel about gun control? How do you feel about the Second Amendment? Do you think it's important? Their answer can tell you how they feel about abortion, how they feel about immigration, how they feel about whether the election was valid. It's just go down the line with one question. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad because you should, like you said, I mean, it's like the Second Amendment is totally different from abortion, totally different from gay marriage. And it's sad that you can ask one question, you can predict, and with probably great deal of accuracy, what those people are going to say based on that one answer, because they've drawn their lines and they're towing this line now, and people are so far apart. And then you're right, when you speak to them in person and have a long conversation with them, you find out even though they may lean on this side or lean on that side, most people are pretty reasonable. You know, they care about their family, they care about their money. You know, and politics used to be about that. Hey, it's the money, stupid, or whatever that expression was. Like, it's the economy, stupid. Because like, whether you were on the right or the left, at the end of the day, you're about yourself.
Yeah, I think one big point about what you're saying about these influential people too is they benefit from strife. They benefit from conflict. And so instead of uniters like Martin Luther King Jr., you have the opposite. You have people that literally benefit from people being divided. They benefit from calling people out or yelling people down, or getting conflict going. Like that gets them more views. I mean, that's what's going on with Facebook. That's what the algorithms that people are complaining about that are literally accelerating our path towards some sort of civil war.
Yeah.
Did you see The Social Dilemma?
I did see The Social Dilemma.
Scary shit, right?
Scary shit. And I tell you what I was watching actually on the plane was this, do you remember the Duke lacrosse players?
Yes.
Do you remember that story?
Yes. Explain it to people.
Dude, the Duke lacrosse players. So the whole media had kind of indicted these guys, and they loaded this story with, class and race.
Explain the story to people.
It was a bunch of lacrosse players. They had a party, right? A bunch of guys had a party at their house. Yeah, they're uppity white guys. They play lacrosse. So It's like nobody comes from the ghetto and plays lacrosse. So you know that they're arrogant white guys who probably, their father may have like a third. They definitely have a portrait in the foyer of like, this is my uncle, his ties go back to England or whatever.
Right.
So they're douches. We get it. But they had a party and somebody hired some strippers. And the strippers that came were like two POCs. They were POC. And one of them was...
A lot of people listening are like... Oh.
POCs are people who historically disenfranchised, a little darker melanin tones.
People of color.
People of color.
Yes.
And so they came, they stripped. But the girl, they only stripped for like 5 minutes, and the girl was saying weird stuff. And then they got mad. The guys got mad because they felt like they were getting conned, that they didn't get their lap dance worth or whatever, their dancing worth. And then something went awry, and then the girl called the cops and said, I was assaulted. And then from there it became a big story, and it ended up that the prosecutor was withholding exculpatory evidence that would have exonerated knowingly. I mean, he ended up getting disbarred and doing time because of this. And you look back now and you're going like, that guy was doing exactly what online personalities do now.
Yes.
It's like, this is good for me.
Right.
I'm in the spotlight. I'm this hero convicting these douchebags. The media's attaching this big social justice cause to it. There's this evidence that clearly my client is lying. Let's just put that to the side because all the attention's on me, and this is self-aggrandizing for me. So I'm benefit forming. I'll just lie and just, there's some evidence that comes that, contradicts what I'm saying. Let's just, because right now I'm a star. And so these kids were maligned by the media, all these journalists writing this horrible stuff about these kids, the culture of the lacrosse players, the privilege, the white privilege, this, that. They did this to this poor black person, and then it was loaded because of Durham, because you got Duke, and Duke is like the Harvard of the South, and then you got poor Durham. And then it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit. The DNA exonerated the 3 kids that were on trial, and it ended up this girl was like had some mental health problems. She ended up like killing her boyfriend or something, and is in prison like a couple years later. She was like off, and a few journalists apologized, but by that time it was like, now you go to comedy clubs, the joke that comics tell the most, if they see 5 like waspy looking white guys, they're like, you guys look like the Duke lacrosse player, like that you use it as a pejorative. So it doesn't matter if it's true because the media made it true. So a lot of people don't even know that they did nothing because the narrative had already been written.
Right, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
The problem is once the narrative gets out there, if there's some sort of a correction in the newspaper a couple weeks later, it's always on like the 4th page in the lower right-hand corner. Sorry, we have the amendment to the story.
Yeah.
Turns out nobody raped anybody. Whoops.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry we ruined your life forever.
Yeah. but we sold a lot of papers with that. So
Yeah, that is a real issue. Here's a real question: should you be able to make money off the news?
it's a good question, man.
It's a good question, because if you can make money off the news, then all of a sudden the news becomes a show. And the more outrageous you can get it, the more clickbaity you can get it, the more you can sort of jazz up the headlines and distort the story, the more you're going to get people to tune in. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I remember when I was working for Fusion, which was like a short-lived company that was owned by Disney and Univision. It lasted like a year. It was totally like they tried to build a big studio in Miami, and they were trying to target millennials. But by that time, like everything was on the phone. People were watching you, and it was just a waste of money. But I remember one of their slogans was like, "Start a fight." And I was like,
Really?
yeah, because my two co-hosts were journalists, and it was run by journalists, and I was like the comedic guy that they had me in a corner and they opened it up and I came in and I was like, woo ha, to make people laugh. But but I was working with like a Peabody Award-winning journalist, Mariana Atencio and Pedro Andrade. He was from Brazil, and they were two serious journalists. And the executive producer sat us down. It's like, pick a fight. Always look to pick a fight. And I'm like, wow, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, that should be happening in MMA with the matchmakers, not your news.
That's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Pick a fight.
Pick a fight. Because it gets ratings. People love the drama. They love it. I mean, if you turned on a real reality TV show, it would just be like a couple guys sitting around,
Yeah.
picking their nose, changing channels. But then if you make a reality, you're like, they tell you, that's not reality. They have line producers going, okay, call him the N-word now. Like, I don't want to call him the N-word. Like, no, trust me. We'll figure out, and then
We'll bleep it out. No one will know what you
bleep it out.
said.
Yeah, then they let you.
Then they start with the N and lead with the R. And you're like, hey.
I bet you Puck was a really good guy. I bet you they just edited it. You remember Puck from Real World? He was sticking his finger in peanut butter.
That's right.
He was bullying Pedro.
No, he was a mess. But the problem with those guys is that you make them more of a mess by shining the camera on them. And then you make him famous. Didn't he lose his marbles after he got off that show? Because he was one of the most famous guys from the real world, other than Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
Or was he on Road Rules?
No.
Theo was on Road Rules, right?
No, Theo was in one of the houses.
He was in the real world?
He was,
No,
yeah.
no, well, yeah, he was on Road Rules, and then he was in the Challenge, which sort of is like the living experience at the house.
Oh, so it's two
both.
different.
He was on multiple shows for them.
Theo Vaughn.
Yeah. He's the only dude probably to make it out of there.
100%. And
Yeah.
be legit.
Be legit.
Yeah. I mean, he's a fucking legit comic.
He's a funny
He's
dude.
funny.
Yeah.
He's fucking funny.
And
That dude kills me.
And he's funny solo, which
Yeah.
is not easy to do.
Oh, dude, he's funny, period.
Yeah.
He's a funny fucking comic and so original. Who's more unique than Theo Vaughn? His style.
It's like comedy jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're almost listening for the funny and the rhythm of it. You're
And
like,
it's got an element of gonzo to it too. Sort of like Joey Diaz. He's lying about some of these things, but you don't care. You know what I mean? It's it's part of the fun. Like a great Joey Diaz story. Who knows what percentage of it is exaggeration or absolute falsehoods?
Right.
But you don't care.
Right.
You're there for the ride.
Right.
And that's with Theo.
Right.
My uncle got bit by a gay guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he says that, you're like, what the fuck? We'll see. He's so funny, man.
Lying belongs with entertainers.
Yes.
But unfortunately now, like you said, these journalists have become entertainers. They got their own brand. They got their own Twitter feed. They have their own gram.
Well, it makes them famous and it makes them wealthy. Well, I think there's a shining light to that. There's there's a way out of this, and I think it's Substack. A lot of these legitimate journalists, they're no longer with these papers that are interested in doing that, and they're gravitating towards Substack, and they have people pay for actual journalism.
Yeah.
And so there's a new wave of legit journalists on Substack that are just people subscribe to it, and they can choose to subscribe or not subscribe. You pay or you don't pay. It's your choice. But in doing so, these people have cultivated a group of people that are actually looking for real journalism.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is. I think that was the problem, is the media probably just didn't adapt to the digital age.
Yeah.
They kept making papers, and then they started giving the articles away for free.
Yep.
And then in order to get clicks, you had to make the headlines into car crashes. to get people's attention. But
you have to.
like from doing comedy, it's the same thing when you do comedy. When you're doing like an open mic or a free show, the audience doesn't respect it. They
true.
come in, you do those college shows, they yawn, they come in flip-flops, they suck their teeth at you. They don't care. They didn't pay. You're
not invested.
You're not invested in it, and you're attracting an audience that is apathetic. They're not there for the show. But if you pay for the journalism, you could take that money away. If it's not good, you go, take it away.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, isn't it, about those free shows, paper shows?
Yeah.
The audience, the way they feel is so different.
Yeah.
Shorter attention span, not really that interested, just not invested in the show.
Yeah. You don't respect something if you don't pay for it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true.
It's true. But it's like Patreon. Like comedy doesn't happen on television anymore. That's not comedy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's wild. But comedy is happening on podcasts, on the internet, and Patreon is like the purest. It's probably the purest system, the subscriber model that comedians and entertainers have ever had. It's this same model that Netflix has, same model that HBO has, and it proves that model probably is better than the other models because HBO for a while has been making more money than all the networks combined because of their dumb pilot system where they'd make those pilots and spend all that money and then jettison those shows that didn't work. Whereas HBO, it's like, hey, we make the shows that we want to make, you pay the money, and, if you don't like it, you leave. If you like it, and that's why they were free to be uncensored and push the envelope. And now that's happening online with Patreon. Patreon.com/Yanni Longdays.
Yeah, it is. There's a new era in that respect. But Patreon will delete you. That's the problem. They can decide that you're problematic, and they've done that with people before, right?
Right.
They've done that with people, where it was very arguable whether or not what they did was bad or not.
That's the issue.
You need something where the people get to decide and not a corporation. You're not going through a filter like Patreon.
Right.
So how do you do that? I think Sam Harris doesn't use Patreon. I think he does it straight through his website. I think his donations. He's an interesting cat, man. And the way he does his podcast, he does a subscriber-based podcast, but he doesn't ever want anyone to not get the content if they can't afford it. So all you have to do is send an email to him saying that you can't afford it, and he'll give you a free subscription. And 100% of all those requests are accepted.
Wow.
Yeah. But he still does well.
Yeah.
It's still doing really well.
Because people want to give.
Yeah, because it's really good. His insight is fantastic. He's a really brilliant guy. But the way he's doing it is all through his, first of all, there's not a corporation in the world that would do that. Would say, if you can't afford it, send an email, we'll give it to you for free.
Right.
But he does it.
Right. Yeah.
So he's got a weird business model, but it works for him. And I'm pretty sure he does it all through his website.
Radiohead doesn't get enough credit. Credit.
Wabbits?
Wascally
Wabbit.
They don't get enough credit for being like the first. Remember when they did that on their website? They just said, we're giving you this album for donation. Give what you want. And they made like a ton of money.
What was that? When did they do that?
Remember that?
In Rainbows is like 2005. Pay what you want release is what they called it. The first major act to do it.
Who was it? What?
Radiohead.
Radiohead did. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And they made a ton. And like at that point, that was like the coup de grace.
I thought you were saying Radio did that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Radio? Like Radiohead. That's right. Radio did that.
Yeah.
And Louis C.K. did that too, didn't he?
He did it.
Didn't he do something very similar like that when he released his comedy special?
He did. Well, he did it for $5 on his website. But Radiohead was like the first major act of any genre, any art form to do it. And it wasn't just a set price. It was like pay what you want. And people ended up, because they love Radiohead so much, they end up giving a lot of money, much like the Sam Harris model. You were just saying like, hey, if you can't afford it, we'll give it to you. But people want to pay.
I think Adam Curry has a similar situation, right? He allows you could pay whatever you want, isn't it? I think Adam's is free. Is it free, or is it you could pay whatever you want? I think you could pay whatever you want. And some people pay $1, and some people pay you a lot of money.
Yeah.
They just say, this is a great show, I want to support it. You know?
Yeah.
It's there's some purity to that, you know?
Big time.
There really is. It's a nice business model where you have like a real, like Adam in particular has a real relationship with his fans. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like it works out.
Yeah.
Like everybody agrees, you know, and he does not waver, and he does not censor himself. He's always telling you fucking the straight dope no matter what, or how uncomfortable or how weird the conversation is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that model's pure, straight to the fans. No middleman, no corporate, ethics office or whatever. And people crave that. People want that, and that's why the success of that model is the success that it is, because people want it.
Yeah,
and
well, they realize the opposite is dangerous. When you have corporate censored information and you're not getting the full unbiased story, you're getting a filtered down story that has been decided upon by a bunch of executives. They would say, well, we're going to leave the, much like we were talking about with the prosecuting attorney. It was going to leave out some information that would make us look bad or make the story look bad, and let's steer it in a certain direction.
Right.
We're not going to lie, but we're going to eliminate some stuff that would throw into question whether or not our story is accurate.
Right. And people see through it now.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason is podcasts like yours, where you're like, hey, I'll let a guy talk for 4 hours. You could tune in when you want, tune in for as long as you want. It's on you. But I'm going to let him talk. And I'm not beholden to, some peacock logo or, you're beholden to probably a few vitamins and a few weights.
Well, they never give me
Which are
advice.
good for you.
They are good for you. They never give me advice, though.
Yeah.
Never get advice from the vitamin companies.
No. Should I get the on it?
I'll get it for you. What do you
jerk
want?
Up, that when you
Jerk off stuff?
No,
What
when
are you
you
talking
jerk
about?
that jerk up motion.
Kettlebells? Is that what you're saying?
Kettlebells. You can tell I don't really work out. The jerk up motion thing.
Yeah, I'll give you one to take back with you.
All right, as long as it's got a gorilla face on it.
I got what size? Well, how many pounds do you want?
Can we start with the beginner gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
5
have
pounds?
some sent to you.
Thank you.
Have you ever used kettlebells before?
No.
No? We have some here. We have some in the back.
I won't get a hernia from pulling it up.
No. The key is you can get a really good workout with 35-pound kettlebell.
All right.
A really good full body workout. There's a great video called Extreme Kettlebell Cardio Workout. It's Keith Weber, and he's a guy who's been on the podcast before. I have no affiliation with him other than he's great. He's just a great guy. And his video, you use one 35-pound kettlebell and it'll fucking crush you. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, you're doing this is easy. I can fucking do this all day long.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, you're like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
Right.
And then 4 minutes later, you're like, fuck. The next day, you barely walk. It's incredible.
Because you're using your whole body, right?
Using your whole body.
Like,
And it's a cardio workout.
Yeah.
But it's a strength producing workout too. And the thing about things like kettlebells they strengthen everything. It strengthens your stabilizing muscles, your balance, all your joints, all that stuff all works together because it's all working together as one unit. You're not just bench pressing or curling. You're doing something where the whole body is involved in the exercise.
They could clip that and make that the commercial right there.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. It's my primary means of working out. If you could tell me I could only have 2 pieces of equipment, I would say I want a 50-pound kettlebell and a chin-up bar. That's all I want. I'll be good with that.
And an ice bath, maybe.
And an ice bath.
Yeah, you've been doing good with that. Up to 20. You did 20 minutes?
Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I had a headache all day yesterday. The day before I did it.
Yeah.
When did I do it? I didn't do it yesterday, right? No. I did it the day before. I did it Monday. All day Tuesday I had a headache, and I was like, damn, what if I die?
Yeah.
Because then when people were sending me things about hypothermia,
Yeah.
and you get hypothermia in that temperature after 15 minutes.
Yeah, dude, I could have told you it probably wasn't safe just because of your nips. Your nips were going take me out of here. Yeah.
They went like that immediately, though.
Yeah.
I have very sensitive nipples. They're very excitable.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I
Your
just
nipples
wanted to
look like
see
those
how
rock
far.
climbing things.
When you're in wrestling class.
You just pull up on them. Yeah, they were cold.
Yeah, it's fucking cold. It's a ridiculous thing. I just wanted to see how far I could push it.
20 minutes is impressive.
It's
to do that.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not wise.
Well, yeah. I mean, you do that though.
I was thinking of going longer. I was
I
going to
know.
go to 25.
Wow.
But I was going to go stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just stay safe. Stay alive.
I remember last time when I did that show with you at the Vulcan down here, and you just climbed up the side of the building.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
you saw the ladder and you're like, this ladder's dangerous to have. Someone could just climb right up here. And then you're like, let me check it out. You just jumped up and climbed it. I was like, that's not safe.
Nope.
No, that wasn't safe.
Yeah, but I would be fine. I would have been fine. There was a truck there. I would have fallen on the truck.
Nice,
All
yeah.
right.
Well, I'm glad you had it
I
thought
thought it
out.
through.
Yeah, you thought it through. Yeah, I don't think there was a mattress on the truck, though. Yeah.
It's
You'd
not
been
that
all right.
far.
Yeah, but you did. You climbed up the building in like seconds. Like it was like you were doing like a obstacle. It almost felt like I was on American Ninja Warrior or something.
Well, it wasn't that hard. It's just a ladder.
It's very difficult, I think, to jump up and do that. Yeah. I don't think me or Jamie could have done that. I can't do
Jamie
one
could do
pull-up.
Jamie
No,
could
I
do
don't
it.
think so. Dude, he scaled it. Like he scaled. He was doing parkour. It looked
No.
like parkour.
We watch a lot of parkour on this show. That was definitely not parkour. That was
Well,
like
you jumped-
53-year-old guy who can do some chin-ups.
I guess so, yeah. It was still pretty impressive and dangerous.
Yeah, it's definitely dangerous a little bit, but you gotta have a little danger in your life. You can't be just playing it safe all the time.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
It's just not wise.
Yeah. But I'm a guy with anxiety, so
You know what the best way to get over anxiety? Do dangerous shit.
I thought you were going to say zinc.
Magnesium. On it. Magnesium.
What's the best way?
I think doing difficult things, challenging yourself, making yourself more resilient, mentally resilient. That's just my thoughts on it. CBD is good for anxiety too. That's proven. Some people think that anxiety is connected to a lack of rigorous exercise. Some people think it's connected to inflammation. Some people, there's a lot of thoughts on that. And I think the problem with anybody giving anyone a diagnosis is each human being has an individual level of anxiety that's impossible to determine. Like, I could weigh you, and I know how much you weigh. I can't weigh your anxiety.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you say, hey, doctor, I'm fucking anxious. I have all this anxiety. I'm freaking out. Doctor doesn't know what that means. Like, is your anxiety legitimate? Like, maybe someone's trying to kill you.
Right.
You know, maybe you should be anxious.
Right.
Or maybe you're just fucking really chemically imbalanced.
Right.
Maybe you could alleviate that with exercise, or maybe you can't. Maybe you need medication. So no one really knows you other than you.
Right. Right. I guess the only thing they start to get a sense of your level of anxiety if you start saying, like, the Mossad's out to get me.
Right.
Yeah.
If you start saying,
I'm Queen Elizabeth reincarnated.
yeah, I come from alien DNA.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
visit me
stuff like
regularly.
that. Yeah.
Imagine if you did. Imagine if you really were an alien hybrid and nobody wanted to listen. And you're like, I'm telling you guys.
Yeah. That would be hilarious. That would be something that the aliens would do just for entertainment.
Well, it would be really hard to convince someone of anything extraordinary. Really hard to convince someone that you're involved in anything that's really off the deep end crazy.
Right. It's much easier to convince people of stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
People love that. If you have a little charisma, like, charisma goes a long way, dude. It's like that Quentin Tarantino from that movie. He's like, personality goes a long way. Like, you look at every despot in history, not one of them was a bore.
Right.
You can't get a lot of people. They have a lot in common with stand-up comics. They get up there, control the crowd, bullshit, lie, like
Well,
we do.
how about Hitler?
Hitler he crushed.
He would crush.
I would watch those videos. I don't even speak German, but you get goosebumps, and you find yourself. You just like, whatever he's saying, I'm on board.
Well, the thing about
He
Hitler,
means it.
He does mean it, and he's enhanced. He's on cocaine. He's on testosterone. He's on meth. He's on a gang of different things.
Panzer Chocolat, I think they called it, right?
Is that what they called it?
Well, it was like chocolate. It was a meth in chocolate, and they called it Panzer Chocolat because they would give it to the guys in the Panzer tanks. Oh. And so those dudes were just, they were lit.
They were lit.
They were lit. I don't think you can go to war without being lit, right?
Well, it's probably not wise.
Right.
Like, why would you want to be, if you're definitely going to go to war, wouldn't you want to be on meth?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if 100%, the only thing I would think is, like, maybe you would make decisions that wouldn't be intelligent.
Right.
You wouldn't make wise choices. You would just be a berserker.
Right. You'd be like, you think you see Bugs Bunny and you just be shooting. Yeah, you'd be tripping.
We've talked about it on the podcast before, but there was a time when Hitler went to visit Mussolini because Mussolini was thinking of pulling Italy out of the war. And Hitler, apparently, he was exhausted before this. Do you remember, did we ever resolve who told us that story? Someone told us the story and then we researched it.
We found the time. Yeah, I found the article where it said it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that, but who told us about it? You remember who told us about it?
I don't remember if I found the podcast when we found out about it was with Brian Moses, but I don't know if he's the one who told us about it.
I don't think so. I think we were talking about it to Moses, but I think someone else had told. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Moses.
Before we get too far, the Panzer Chocolat thing might not be real.
Really?
I just said the company that made it, I guess. It's a fake image of supposed Panzer Chocolate in combination with their trademark. It might have been just with this company's lettering, but they said it was not real.
So they would put allegedly though they would put meth in chocolate, right?
Yeah, there was something else I just found that had a different name, but then I found what you said.
Yeah.
So it might just be what you were saying, that word might not be real, but they did put some drug in chocolate.
Panzer Chocolate.
Yeah, it says, however, this Panzer Chocolade never existed. Zotter distances itself with all clarity from this brand and reputation-damaging misrepresentation, which establishes a non-existing connection between our company, founded in 1999,
Oh, that's different.
and the Nazi regime.
This is like, I guess, a company that's saying like, hey.
I know, that's what I was trying to say. But the actual chocolate drug probably did exist, but the thing with...
They didn't call it Panzer Chocolate.
just
Oh, yeah, it's the company Zotter. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
saying,
that's what I was saying,
Yeah,
yeah. They were saying
Zotter has been refuting it because they're the company that started in 1999. But a lot of fucking companies started during Nazi Germany, right?
BMW. Audi.
Did you ever see Hitler's race car? Hitler had an Audi race car. Pretty fucking dope.
Really?
Looked like a cigar.
Yeah.
Like an old school, like a cigar with like wheels poking out the side.
Right.
You ever see it?
I don't think I have.
I think it either went for auction or something happened a few years back where it's a pretty dope looking car. You got to think like for 1940, like if you saw that thing in 1940, it would be the shit.
Right.
You know?
Well, you'd think the Fuhrer would have he'd have the top model. Be weird if he rolled around a
I see
Volkswagen.
a same car with a Mercedes logo and an Audi logo.
Oh, yeah?
Unless someone's photoshopping stuff.
I mean, that is a Litmobile right there.
So that says 12 million, but has an Audi logo.
Yeah.
Wow. Look how pretty it is.
Germans can make cars, man.
Oh, fuck yeah, they can. Look at that thing. That's so pretty.
It is.
And that's from what year is that? Hitler's racing car. So is there a good side profile of it, Jamie? So there's one. Wow, look at that thing.
Yeah.
Rare Nazi-era race car on display. Look how fucking pretty that is.
That is nice.
If you're driving down the 405 with that bad boy,
Yeah.
look at that right there. Wow. The most expensive car ever. Hitler's Auto Union on the auction block. And that's got the Audi logo on it.
So that was his. Was that his particular? Like, if you sniff the seat, you're sniffing where his ass was.
That's very
That's
different.
a little
looking.
different, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think he just sponsored, he sponsored race cars. They sponsored athletes for the Olympics. They sponsored all that shit.
You ever see that photo of him in the stands at the Olympics?
Oh,
when
yeah.
He's like on
Tripping
meth?
balls. There's
Yeah.
video of it.
Yeah.
Tripping balls.
He looks like an Orthodox Jew at the Wailing
just
Wall.
tweaking.
Yeah.
Tweaking hard. That girl, that amazing gymnast who everybody's shitting on.
Simone Biles.
Yeah, because she just bailed on the Olympics. She's like, I can't take it anymore. I was just reading that she regularly takes ADHD medication. And they said that she can no longer take it because in Japan, you can't take this stuff. She takes Ritalin. Find out if this is true. Because if that is the case, they said that during the last Olympics, I guess 2016, she took this stuff and she won a bunch of gold medals.
Yeah.
And now, because she's regularly on this.
Right.
This is her medication.
And so they're saying she can't because
Japan is, it's illegal to take whether it's Adderall or Ritalin. I think it's illegal to take those in Japan. This is what I was reading
weird
today.
How cultures have their different.
Yeah.
I mean, you could like buy panties in a vending machine, but you can't take Ritalin.
Well, I think they're very sensitive to amphetamines because amphetamines and methamphetamines were the reason why the kamikazes were willing to fucking fly their planes right into boats. Like, fucking gritting their teeth the whole way.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's why Lexus probably does so well, because if like you mess up at the factory, you have to like walk off a plank because of honor. They're into honor.
Really?
Well, I don't know if that's true, but it was,
They don't fuck. I've had three
I would be
Lexuses in my
surprised.
life. They never break.
they're so good.
They're so good.
I had
They're the best
yeah.
cars.
So this is from the last Olympics.
Okay, Simone
Brazil.
Biles addresses leaked medical records and ADHD misconceptions. U.S. gymnast superstar Simone Biles was in a different kind of spotlight Tuesday after Russian hackers circulated confidential medical reports in the World Anti-Doping Agency database that showed her use of methylphenidate, a stimulant used to treat ADHD. Biles, 19, was forced to publicly address her ADHD and her approval of the use of medication after a leak. I have ADHD and I've taken medicine for it since I was a kid. Please know I believe in a clean sport. I've always followed the rules, so will continue to do so as far as play is critical to, as fair play is critical to sport and is very important to me. So she's been on this medication for a long time, but see if you can find that an article that says she was not allowed to take this ADHD medication in Japan. Because that's what they were saying. They were saying that during this Olympics, they told her she has to get off of it. If that's the case, that would greatly contribute to her anxiety and her mental problems that she's having. Imagine if you're on a medication for last at least 5 years, right? She's been on since 2016. And then all of a sudden they tell you can't be on it anymore and you have to compete in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And you're used to being on this medication.
Yeah, no, that'll cause you some strife. But this could be fishy. Like they're saying they treat it for ADHD, but what if this is like a drug that makes them like super focused?
Well, it does make you super focused.
Super focused.
I'm sure it does.
So
I mean, that's why they say pitchers can't take it.
Right.
Like pitchers want to take Adderall.
Right.
Yeah.
And the pitchers used to take greenies, which were basically like some sort of amphetamines.
Yeah.
So this could be a similar kind of scandal where the Russian hackers, freaking Russians, the Russians and the Chinese are just like, they're beating us on the online, dude. They're like Iago and Othello, and they're just kind of manipulating us and hacking our shit.
They are.
You see that video of Hunter Biden doing crack? Someone hacked that. I mean,
how'd they get that?
I don't know, but it was one of the funniest when she's going, "Are you there?" and he's just going. I watch it over and over again and just laugh.
Well, what's crazy is Joe Biden was one of the people that made sure that the laws went through that treated people very differently for crack than they did for cocaine. I mean, that has been, if you want to see clear evidence of racism in prosecutions.
Oh, yeah.
It's the difference between how they treat cocaine arrests versus how they treat crack arrests. Yeah. And crack, if you talk to Dr. Carl Hart from fucking Columbia, who's a brilliant guy, he'll tell you that crack is cocaine.
Right.
It's just a cheaper version of it. It's just about the way it's processed and the way it's made. But essentially the psychoactive chemical is the same.
For sure. And I think the drug crimes, really you see the systematic oppression of black people in drug crime. Like, it's like, white guy's doing cocaine.
Exactly.
But like, I mean, a black guy's got a bag of marijuana. He goes away for 15 years or whatever. That's been total injustice in our country.
Meanwhile, his fucking son smoked crack.
Kid smokes crack.
I mean, he's got a couple bucks.
He parties, dude. Yeah.
He's got money. And
he's got a taste. He's got it. Once you develop, it's like, once you experience 100% pure grape juice, it's delicious. But if you were raised on grape drink, you love that grape drink.
It's a different flavor.
It's a different flavor. He loves that grape drink drug.
Yeah.
Because that's basically like, it's kind of like a cheaper form of the real thing.
It's a cheaper form of the real thing, and I bet part of it is being naughty.
Yeah. Hunter Biden likes to be naughty.
He's a naughty boy.
He's a naughty kid.
Right? He's naughty. His dad was the vice president, and he's just being naughty.
Yeah.
He's eating hookers' assholes and smoking crack and getting wild, getting foot jobs.
He's fun. I mean, he's a fun kid. I'd rather
hang out with him. I tried to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
I tried to get him on the podcast.
Well, tell him you got some crack.
But here's the thing is like they asked for him to be on the podcast first. And I think I was like, get the fuck out of here with that. And then as time went on, I was like, I think one day I was really high. Mm-hmm. And then I had this epiphany, like, why wouldn't I have him on? Like, he's just a man.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's like, everybody's mad at him. I'm not mad at him. And I'm not a mean guy. Like, if I had him on the podcast, I would be nice to him. I don't know what it's like to be born a son of a wealthy, famous politician who happened to be the vice president of the United States, who also drafted the 1994 sweeping crime bill. I don't know what the fuck that would be like.
Right.
It'd be weird.
Right.
It's a weird life, man. And I probably would get naughty too.
Yeah.
But he seems to have pulled his shit together, and he wrote a book about it. And everybody wants to prosecute him and attack him and all this shit. But what has he done? He's just done regular crazy shit that a lot of our comic friends have done.
Right.
I have no problem with that guy.
Right.
Like the idea that we should hate him because his dad is the vice president, now the president. Like, why?
Right.
Well, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's got no power or anything like that.
He's just a guy who likes to get wild.
He likes to get wild, yeah.
How many guys like that do we know?
A lot of guys.
In our world?
Yeah. I mean, I give him more. A lot of guys. I don't even know guys who smoke crack anymore. I mean, he's like a throwback. He's
well,
like a
one of my best friends was a serious crackhead.
yeah.
Yeah, when I lived in New York, he's dead now. But one of my best friends. He was at the time my best friend, but one of my best friends ever. If I had to make a list of like 20 of my all-time best friends, my friend Johnny B, he would be right up there. He was fucking amazing. He was an amazing guy, but he was a drug addict. And he was wild. Yeah. Just a wild dude. And he would always have, I've dropped him off places sometimes. I'd bring him to go cop where he'd pick up drugs, and then I'd have to take him to a liquor store so he could buy 40 ounces to take the edge off because he was so fucked up on crack.
This sounds very like early 90s, 80s. Just crack, 40s.
Yep, exactly. It was early 90s.
Yeah, a little brand Nubian playing in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, Cool G Rap.
Cool G Rap, yeah.
The Ill Street Blues.
Yeah, you lose because you got the Ill Street Blues. Those guys could rhyme, dude.
Fuck, dude, Cool G Rap is, to this day, in my opinion, one of the most underrated rappers of all time. He's one of the all-time greats.
Without a doubt.
Cock Blocking, that song Cock Blocking.
Without a doubt. If you listen to Ill Street, you listen to the lyrics of Ill Street Blues.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, Rakim.
Yeah.
Actually,
oh, Jesus. Eric B. and Rakim? Oh, my God.
Just lyricist, Big L. That whole era, it might have peaked. I'm telling you, there's no lyricists as good as those guys. Maybe Eminem.
Nas is the GOAT.
Great. Yeah, but Nas is from back then.
He is from back then, but he's still doing it right now. Nas, in my opinion, is the GOAT. Of lyrics, I don't think anybody can touch him. I think he's number one. He's my all-time favorite lyricist. He makes songs backwards.
Yeah.
Right? That one song, was it Rewind? What was that one song? Was it Rewind? That he did backwards.
Yeah.
He told the whole story backwards.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does that?
Nas.
Nas does
Yeah.
that. I mean, his rhymes are meticulous. They're fantastic.
Totally.
You never hear like a Nas lyric where you go, that one's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
They're all amazing.
He's a real artist.
He's a real artist.
Artistry with it.
Yeah.
Back then, hip-hop was incredible. Like, everything was artistic. Even the performance, like the background dancers, breakdancing, like the synchronized breakdancing and the beatboxing, the DJing. Now it's just club music.
Those guys must hate mumble rap.
Hate it. And just how rich those guys are. Like, I saw like Sadat X on the train one day, and I was like, I mean, those guys still tour, make money. They go to Japan. Japanese can't get enough of hip-hop. They love it. Oh, they love it, dude.
They love breakdancing over there.
They love hip-hop. They love breakdancing. They love black guys.
Korea loves breakdancing.
Yeah.
Have you ever follow Stance Elements on Instagram?
No.
Stance Elements is this hip-hop page. It's breakdancing page on Instagram. And what they're doing right now with hip-hop, with breakdancing rather, is it doesn't even make sense. Like the physical feats of spectacular coordination and strength that these fucking people can do now. They're like, forget about gymnastics.
Right.
Really, breakdancing should be in the fucking Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see, what is that dude's name? B-Boy Pocket Kim. What the fuck is his name? How do you say his name? There's this dude, and he defies gravity. Like, it doesn't make sense. B-Boy Pocket Kim? Yeah, B-Boy Pocket. And his name is JiuJitsu Kim. And he is fucking wild, dude. When you see him move around, you cannot believe the kind of shit this guy can do with his body. And it's all breakdancing. It's all B-boys.
Yeah.
I picked something too simple here.
This is very simple. He's just hanging out with these ladies.
Yeah.
You gotta go to that one.
That was like
spinning on his fucking head. Look at this.
That's when you pulled up my Mauricia clip when Eliza said you pulled up a promo.
Look at this. Look at this.
Should be fast.
That's crazy.
Dude, watch that. Look at what he's doing on his head.
Yeah.
Watch when he brings his legs together. He's spinning like a top on the top of his head.
He's like an electronic screwdriver.
It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And that's nothing compared to some of the other shit that he could do.
Yeah.
He does, what do they call that, Jamie? He's like, watch that one. He's just showing himself warming up.
Oh, he might be selling pants here, I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
I mean, Asians, though, they can do this stuff, man. They could,
Well, so can a lot of other people, dude.
I know, but have you seen Ocean's 11, dude? The kid in Ocean's 11 could fit in a suitcase.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
They could turn invisible.
I want to see a really impressive one, though. Let's see if this is one of them. This guy, okay, here it is. Look at the shit this guy can do. It's crazy. And these people that are involved in this, they keep pushing the envelope of breakdancing.
Yeah.
And now there's a couple of friends that I have that are in the jiu-jitsu world. Richie Martinez and Gio Martinez, they started out as breakdancers. And I remember when they first came over to jiu-jitsu, Eddie Bravo, my instructor, was like, dude, there's something going on. Like, breakdancing is next level. Like, the strength that these guys have, the coordination they have, and the ability to control their body is unprecedented. So he started literally practicing breakdancing moves as a method of getting better at jiu-jitsu.
That's like Herschel Walker. He did ballet.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting to see it evolve where now, like athletes, like athletics, where it's just more faster, more powerful, more insane.
Yep.
Jiu-jitsu's evolving too, right? And like,
Oh, yeah.
like MMA, those leg kicks, that's the new thing.
The
Like
low
the
leg
low
kicks.
leg kicks
Yeah.
are like, dudes are breaking their legs now.
I know, it's
So then maybe
crazy.
humans will evolve. They'll like start, like, you know how those Thai boxers kick trees and stuff? Maybe like now MMA guys are going to start, like, until their legs are like guns, like just like steel. Because they're just snapping. Like, guys' legs, how many times recently it's been like 3-4 guys have just snapped their legs?
It's been a few. Conor apparently went into that fight with a cracked shin already. He had gotten a stress fracture on his shin and got it scanned, and there's even photographs of the scans, and was putting pads on it. But I think what he was trying to do was he was trying to spar during camp with no shin and instep pads. That's what I've been told. I don't know if it's true. Whenever anything happens, you'll get like a bunch of text messages from guys. You know, I know a guy from Conor's camp says Conor was sparring with no shin pads. Like, I don't know if that's true, but that's a rare thing for someone to spar. Like, but he was so hell bent on destroying Dustin Poirier, he might have done something like that.
Right.
And then it wound up costing him because you
Compromised
could see his leg. It's clearly there's something wrong with it going in. Your leg doesn't just break like that.
Right.
You know, like when you see Chris Weidman's leg break, it's real clear.
Right.
He throws it, it catches right where Uriah Hall's shin meets the top of the knee or the bottom of the knee. It's a very rigid spot, and something has to give out, and it was the shin. That makes sense.
Right.
The Conor one didn't really make sense.
It's more of an ankle, more lower.
Didn't make sense the way it broke.
Yeah.
Like there was something wrong with it, I would imagine already.
But that one kick where he kind of checked on the elbow, it was that spot.
Yeah, but even then,
Yeah.
it's very rare that's going to make your instep or your shin break like that.
Right. You know what's interesting is, like, not only does sports evolve, but your tolerance evolves for what you can look at. Because now I've become such a big MMA fan, and now I've seen so many of those breaks. At first, you can't look at them. You're like, oh my, I can't look at him. Now you get used to it. I'm like, I can watch a replay. I can
You're
watch him
telling me.
now. Yeah.
I've seen it in person,
Yeah.
right? So I've called like thousands of fights in person.
Yeah.
So I've probably seen more people get fucked up than most of the people that have ever lived.
Right.
If you had a history of people that have seen people get the shit beaten out of them,
Well,
I got to be high on that list.
You're high on the list, but also, like, there's a lot. World Star Hip Hop has done a good job for all of us.
It has, but
Yeah.
there's a difference between watching something on a screen and
watching
seeing
it
something
live.
in real life.
You're right. Yeah.
You get really accustomed to seeing like injuries in real life. I'm very accustomed to injuries in a weird way.
I love your outfit. Is that the same outfit, or you just got a bunch of, like, black shirts?
David August.
Yeah.
I have like tailored suits that are made by David August. to
It's a
fit
good look,
My
yeah.
fucking chimp body.
Yeah.
I have to get things that fit me right. Yeah, they make beautiful clothes.
You look like a priest after work or something.
All that shit, when you see Conor McGregor
Yeah.
wearing a suit walking into the arena,
Yeah.
that's David August.
Oh,
he
he's
makes
legit. Yeah.
impeccable suits.
Yeah. It's a good look.
I started getting into wearing them on stage. When I do arenas, I wear suits.
I saw you with Chappelle. You had a suit on.
So
yeah.
if
yeah.
you feel like it's special,
Right.
Like I wear these like beautiful jackets and everything fits good. You feel like something extra, you know, when you're doing these big ass crowds.
Yeah.
I like it.
Burr's got that great joke. He's like, I know why people are evil, because, like, every time, I don't know what the joke is, but, like, when I put the suit on, I could feel the evil kind of just like, I want to. You just feel like I want to take over some shit.
Yeah, it's there's a feeling of like preparedness, like you're prepared for this. Like this is like, I am a professional.
Right.
I am here. I've done the work.
Yeah.
You know, look at this clothes.
Yeah.
I've got clothes that are designed to fit me.
Right.
They've been fit and cut and sewed, and they fit my form perfectly.
Yeah.
It feels nice.
Yeah. So
They
you
look
get
good,
used
too.
to that.
Nice.
Is there a sound when it cracks? When you
When you hear things? Yeah.
the bone, like you can hear it.
With Chris Weidman, you heard the crack, but I didn't know if it was his shin cracking or just a really hard kick that hit the thigh. It was hard to tell because I'm not hearing it completely unfiltered. I'm hearing it in my ear, and I'm hearing it through a microphone, and they're inside that cage, and at the time they're probably like 30 or 40 feet from me. So it's hard to say what you're hearing.
Right.
You know you're hearing an impact.
Right.
But with Chris, the kick was so powerful. He threw full blast, like the first kick. He just decided he was going to fuck Uriah Hall's leg up with the first kick he threw. So first kick he throws full power, which you rarely do. Most guys, they're like if you watch a guy like Colby Covington, Colby Covington is one of the top welterweights, is known for his cardio. And I had a conversation about this. I go, when you're throwing, you're not throwing 100%. He goes, no, like 60. Like 60, 70% something. He goes, it's somewhere in that range. He goes, every now and then I'll hit him with 100. He goes, well, most of the time it's like 60, 70%. And it's one of the reasons why the guy has an endless gas tank, because he's never like full blasting it. Chris Weidman went full blast with that kick right out of the gate. You could tell.
Also, Uriah Hall is like built like a brick shithouse.
He is. And he's also like super technical.
Yeah.
It's hard to catch him clean with something like first shot. He's very poised and ready.
Yeah. Colby Covington is entertaining.
He's going to fight in Madison Square Garden for the title.
I'm excited about that fight. Can I go?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please, thank you. Yes. I love that. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. That first fight was great, and people are like, I can't believe you're fighting again. It's like, dude, that first fight was great.
It was amazing.
It was an amazing fight.
Amazing. It was an amazing fight. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, look, dude had his fucking jaw broken and still fought another round and a half.
And he's been kicking ass since.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
fuck yeah.
yeah.
Well, listen, Kamaru Usman, the guy he lost to, is, in my opinion, if there's George St. Pierre's number one, he's number two. And the only reason why, you don't know who would win out of the two of them is because they haven't fought.
Right.
But, like, in terms of greatest welterweights of all time, it's tough to fuck with Kamaru Usman. He's right up there at the top of the food chain. He doesn't have the credentials in terms of the overall volume of impressive victories as a champion, because he's only defended. He won the title versus Tyron Woodley. He beat Colby Covington. He beat Gilbert Burns. He beat
Jorge Masvidal.
He KO'd Masvidal in the rematch. Like, those are the big fights, and they're great, impressive fights. But George's legacy is so long. I mean, George's legacy is just. But George, in all fairness, I don't think he fought the same caliber of competition as Usman has.
Is that because the athletes evolved?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I think, and it's no knock on George. George is still one of the all-time greats. And, and George, when he came back and stopped Michael Bisping and choked him unconscious, you got to say, well, Jesus Christ, George is probably even better than he was when he was the champion.
Right.
Because Bisping is fantastic. But I think that the level of competition that Usman has faced is arguably better.
It's such an interesting thing to watch a sport evolve so quickly. Kind of like tennis. I remember it was serve and volleys, and then guys from the the technology changes, the training changes, and with MMA, there's so many different disciplines that you don't know which one's going to start having a bigger impact, and then all the guys are going to. And it's the leg kicks. It seems.
Yep.
You see guys just get chopped down with those leg kicks, and then it's that they have no power, and they can't throw.
They can't even move right.
They can't move right, and
Yeah.
you can see the belts. You can see it, like those red belts on the leg. I used to think that those legs didn't do. Those leg kicks didn't do anything.
Has anybody ever leg kicked you?
No,
Do you want to get leg kicked?
only if you do it for America, on me.
For America?
like full throttle.
No, I would never do it full throttle.
Yeah, no, I'd be dead.
I'll give you a tap,
But
just so you could feel
Joe
it.
Rogan kick in the chest may be what I need to just like
Get you going?
get me going.
Like a kickstart? Vroom.
Dude, you kick hard. Yeah.
I'm not kicking you.
No, please don't.
But to feel a shin on your thigh, just to feel like a thump, is it's illuminating.
Right.
You go, oh God, because it's like just do that to your leg.
Right.
What is this? Who's this? Oh, Fabrizio. That's Fabrizio Verdum. Is that a journalist? Oh, that's Aaron True. Oh, I talked to Aaron. Aaron was letting a bunch of people kick him, and I told him at one point in time, I go, Aaron, please stop doing that. And that was only 40%. Fabrizio says, only 40%, my friend.
You think it's deceptive when you watch it because guys don't react that much. They just take the kick.
Because they're animals.
But it's because they're animals, right?
And their legs are very conditioned.
Right.
They're accustomed to getting beaten up. They develop these really weird veins all over their legs. Like Kevin Randleman, who was one of the greats, on the all-time greats, former UFC heavyweight champion. He fought Pedro Hizzo, and Pedro Hizzo is, in my opinion, probably the hardest leg kicker that ever existed in MMA. He's this big, giant Brazilian heavyweight, fantastic kicker. He was so good, and he fucked up Randleman's leg. He fucked up Randy Couture's leg so bad that Randy said his leg was fucked up for 6 months after the fight.
Wow.
Where it was like sore and lumpy and fucked up. But Randleman had these, Randleman passed away, rest in peace. But Randleman had these huge welts in his legs till the day he died from Pedro Hizzo. His veins had got destroyed from Hizzo kicking him. And so like there's photos, if you find Kevin Randleman's leg damage from Pedro Hizzo, for the rest of his life, he had these fucked up, giant garden hose looking varicose veins in his leg where he got kicked by Pedro Hizzo.
Wow.
Yeah, like he'll change your legs.
Right.
Like literally, he'll change your legs.
That's some ill shit to say to somebody. Yeah.
Bro, Pedro kicked
I'll
so
change
hard.
your legs.
I was at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu once in the early 1990s, and Pedro was working out, and he was kicking this heavy bag, and everybody was just like, what? He was just stepping up, and he's a big guy, 250 pounds, just stepping in. And you would just imagine what that would be like on your leg, just chop, chop, chop. And he, the UFC gave him a giant contract at one point in time because they were convinced that Pedro was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
And he had knocked out Josh Barnett. He and Randy Couture
Not
went
the
to
actor
war.
Josh Barnett.
Josh Barnett is the youngest ever UFC heavyweight champion. He won the title when he was, I want to say he was 24 years old. I think at the time he was the youngest ever heavyweight, not just heavyweight champion, but he was the youngest ever UFC champion. Yeah.
Right on.
Still fights.
He's still going?
Savage. Well, that's after the fight, the swelling in his legs. His legs were all fucked up and swollen. It's hard to tell from that picture. They just look like big legs. But Kevin's legs normally were shredded.
Right.
You would see all the muscle. That's just... See if you can see Kevin's veins.
I tried finding it. Nothing's coming up.
Nothing?
Oh, I remember this dude. This dude is built. I mean,
Randleman?
Yeah.
Oh, Randleman was a goddamn tank.
Yeah.
He was a tank. He was...
he fought in like Japan, like a
Yep.
different...
Fought for Pride.
Pride.
Yeah. No, he was a spectacular athlete. Yeah, it's not showing it. You'd have to like dig deep into the archives.
Do you think the UFC, I know like certain grapplers, like who the jiu-jitsu guys, what's the one guy, he was really, God, I just can't think of his name.
Describe what he looks like.
Man, he's like, he was Strike Force, he's like, but he's all jiu-jitsu. And like what's his freaking name? He was
All jiu-jitsu. Roger Gracie?
No, not Gracie, not the original guys, but
No, Roger fought in Strike Force.
Well, my point is, I'll think of his name, but
Nick Diaz?
No, not the Diaz brothers, but he's in the camp with the Diaz brothers. He's like the
Crone?
Jake
Shields.
Jake Shields.
Jake Shields. Yeah.
So savage, right?
Yeah.
As you would say.
Amazing.
But his style is kind of, I guess, like for fans, is a little boring because he doesn't strike that much. He goes for submissions.
But if he gets a hold of you, you're fucked.
You're
still.
fucked. You're
Yeah.
fucked. It's like a boa constrictor.
Jake Shields was a monster.
Do you think that because I know my taste as a viewer is changing, like I'm being conditioned to appreciate the jiu-jitsu and grappling more, the Muay Thai. I'm starting, like when it goes to the ground, like you're starting to hear, I think, a less booze. Because I think the watcher is getting more educated, the viewer is getting more educated on like how much tactical skill is going into what's going on. Whereas before it was just like people love seeing strikes, but now my question is that, do you think that that'll be as exciting as the striking in MMA as the viewer gets more educated?
It is for some. It is for me, obviously. I have a jiu-jitsu background, but
You
I
know
also,
what's going on.
Yeah, but I also I appreciate people who figure out how to win. You know, I love watching people solve puzzles. I like watching people figure out how to beat a guy. And if a guy beats a guy with a submission or if a guy beats a guy with a head kick, for me, it's all exciting. It's all very exciting. But I think for the crowd, knockouts are always going to be first. Mm-hmm. It's just human nature.
Right.
Because it makes more sense to people that don't fight. Like if you look at the audience, if you go to the T-Mobile arena and there's, what does a T-Mobile see? Like 18,000, 20,000 people? If there's 20,000 people, how many of those people can train? How many of those people know striking or jiu-jitsu, or how many of those people have ever been kicked? maybe 4,000,
Right.
5,000, right? So for most people, they know what's happening if a guy gets kicked in the face. You get kicked in the face, your head snaps back, you flatline and fall back. Everybody's like, oh shit! There's an oh shit moment to knockouts that just don't exist in submissions. Submissions are amazing, but I think you have to kind of appreciate what a guy's doing or a girl's doing in order to be able to really enjoy a submission the way you enjoy a strike, a knockout.
It's starting though to feel exciting when you see a guy get his hooks in and like that battle.
Oh, yeah,
that
'cause you think
battle
he can
when he's
win.
defending and like he gets one arm and that, it's like that anticipation.
Yeah.
Of
No,
it.
if a guy can win, it's
starting
exciting.
to feel exciting as a viewer. I'm just saying from somebody who doesn't know how to do any of that stuff. As a fan, that stuff is starting to feel more exciting than it used to feel for me.
I think so for sure.
Yeah.
I think people are getting more educated about the sport, the more fights they watch, and the more they see, like, for Khabib, for a perfect example. Khabib chokes everybody out, and he's like one of the greatest, no, if not the greatest. There's a real argument that Khabib is the greatest of all time. And again, doesn't have the accolades that John Jones has. And I know John Jones has one loss on his record, but it's a bullshit loss. It's a disqualification of a fight with Matt Hamill where he was destroying him. So you can make the argument that John Jones is undefeated, and I think you should make that argument because nobody really defeated him. Even though he has a loss on his record, no one beat him. Khabib is undefeated. He retired at, was it 29-0, and dominated everybody. No one was even close. John Jones had a couple of split decisions.
Reyes fight.
Reyes fight was fucking close.
Close.
Fucking close.
Yeah.
So was the Thiago Santos fight.
Right.
Fucking close. Close fights. There's no close fights in Khabib's history. There's no close fights.
No.
Everybody gets fucking mauled.
Yeah.
Everybody smash.
Send me location.
Smash. Send location. My favorite quote was him with Conor McGregor. He goes, I want to change his face.
Change his face.
Change his face.
Yeah.
Bro, Khabib was the fucking man. He was the fucking man. And, you know, think about it. He beat Dustin Poirier, submission. Justin Gaethje, submission. Conor McGregor, submission. He submitted all those guys.
Yeah.
And nobody cared. They just were excited to watch Khabib fight.
It could be because of him. You know, it's like usually it's a certain athlete that does something real well that enlightens people to that aspect of the game. It could be because of him, because you hear those crowds were lit. Like when he was on Conor's back,
Oh, yeah.
it was like you could hear it when he was that Poirier fight too. He
Yep.
gets in his back and like, you know, you could just you feel that anticipation of the choke is
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
And when a guy gets out, that's really exciting. Like when a guy somehow gets out. When like the hooks are in and one arm's in, but somehow a guy gets out, that's exciting too.
That thing he did to Conor was so nasty, too, because he wasn't even under the chin. He
it was
on,
like a crank, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's called a fulcrum choke. Dean Lister explained it. He after the fight was over, he did a thing on his Instagram page where he explained the technique. And it's not a move that I've ever used. It's like in that position, I've always gone to like, there's a move where you pull the neck this way and you pull the body that way. Like you do what's called a gable grip on the neck, and you're pulling the neck this way, and then with your lower legs, you're pulling the body another way.
Ow!
And you've got a guy like really fucking twisted up and yanked, and it's very, very painful. But Khabib, I think Khabib's is even better because Khabib is going across the jaw, and then he's putting this forearm, this part right here, behind your back. So as he's gripping, he's got your head wrapped up in his arm, and then he's got this pressing against your back, and he uses that as a lever, and he's cranking your neck. So he's using the elbow as a fulcrum to crank your neck, and you see Conor at the end of the fight. See if you can find the finish.
That's medieval.
It's medieval.
So it wasn't even that he was choked
Wasn't choking
out.
him.
He was just pain.
Neck cranking him.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
I didn't
smashing
know
his
that.
neck. He's smashing his neck. But it's not even the greatest submission of all time. The greatest, the most painful neck submission of all time was in one fighting championship. This guy, let me show this one first. Find Conor submits Khabib, because if you see the way he's doing it, it's very sophisticated. It's very smart. Yeah, here it goes. So he gets on top of him.
I remember there was like a scramble when he was on all fours,
Yeah.
right? He goes against the wall.
He's smashing him. He's got full mount here. He's got one was like 3/4 mount, but he's basically mounted. He can pull that foot
He's
out. if he
talking
wants
to him
to
the whole time. Send me
Yeah.
location.
So he goes, let's talk now.
Let's
Let's talk
talk
now. So he gets his back, And then when Conor tries to scramble to his feet, just scoot your head a little bit there. No, when Conor, it's a little bit more. Conor tries to get to his feet, right there. Go right there. So now he's taking his back. And when he takes his back, he gets his arm under. Conor tucks his chin. See how he tucks his chin?
Yeah.
But look where his left forearm is. See his left forearm? It's pushing against the back.
Yeah.
So the choke is not in.
Right.
It's on the chin. But the way he's gripping it and the way he's pushing his left forearm against the back of Conor and then yanking on his neck. Go ahead, play it out. Watch. He's
pulling it back. Yeah.
See, it's using
Wow.
It's a fulcrum. It's a fulcrum.
So he's yanking him back and pushing the bottom half of his body down?
That's not even the worst choke. You want to see the worst choke?
Yeah.
I'm going to show the worst choke. Look up nastiest submission ever won fighting championship. I don't even know who the dude is that did this technique. We'll give him credit after the fight. But he basically got the guy's back and then flattened the guy out on the ground and with his arm under his neck,
Jesus.
pushed. Yeah, exactly. Watch this.
Oh, I gotta find. It's in the top 20 thing, but it's the main thumbnail.
It's fucking nasty. Like where you go, this guy might be dead. Like he moves he's got like a rear naked choke, but instead of going like rear naked choke where he's sinking in like this, he basically flattens the guy out on his back, and then he pulls his neck forward like this. Like all the way. So the guy's neck is like his face is pressed up against.
So he's choking him with his own body.
He's got his forehead on the center of his chest.
Is that called anything, or is it just like
death? It's called death.
So it doesn't have a move call. Just this it was getting nasty with him.
It's like a variation of a choke from the back, but he doesn't have any hooks in.
Right.
He just figured out instead of like the hooks are like you're trying to control the guy's body while you submit from the neck. But what he's doing is he's got the guy flattened out, and then because he has his head trapped, he forces his face forward.
Right.
It's horrifying.
I want to see this.
It's the most horrifying submission I've ever seen. And
I'm
watch
looking. This might not be it, but I think it was.
That's it. Go ahead. Go ahead a little further. Go right before that. No, that's not it. That's a regular one.
Yeah, sorry.
Is this all of his?
It was in the thumbnail, and unfortunately, it's not like the number
Scooch
one
up,
of 20.
Scooch up.
I'm trying to find it.
Oh yeah, see, just scroll through. It's got to be number one.
It's not. I checked.
What?
I started at the end. That's why I'm starting to scroll. It took too long to scroll
Okay,
through.
keep going. Let me see if I can recognize it.
Yeah, I know the picture I'm looking for now, and I don't see the guy being flattened out like that.
It was horrific, dude. Like, I'm telling you, out of all the 1,000 people that I've seen get choked unconscious, this was number one.
You may be one of the only people on the planet that's seen that many people get choked out.
I think there's probably a few jiu-jitsu guys that have seen more people get choked out.
But you're up there.
Yeah, I'm in the top 100. Go to the very end. It's got to be number one. How can it not be number one?
It was. I know. It's like it's some guy just doing like a regular.
Go back a little. I think this is it. Go back.
See, he's got his arm.
Nope, that's not it.
That's like the end of the video.
Wow. What is this one?
Very similar.
Nope, that's not it.
But see, it's that picture right there.
Is that triangle choke?
Yeah, that's it. That's the picture.
But it's not.
But where's that one? We'll find out who that is.
I would think it would just have been right there.
It doesn't say.
Sorry,
why
I'll
would
look
they
again.
not say that that's number one?
second.
How could that? Wait a minute. What does it say?
It's
It said
top
top 20. But if you put your thing in there, you let it the video scroll a
I
little
gotta
bit.
find a guy with
do
black-
that.
black
Do
and
that
white.
back again.
It just starts showing other parts of the video.
19. Number 19. That's it.
That's the one I stopped on.
And that's not it.
No. This could be it because it's a guy in black and white.
No, that's a triangle. He's gonna get him in an arm bar. That's not it either.
We got stuck looking at this now.
Yeah.
I guess once you feel that that arm under your
You need to
neck,
see it.
you know it's over.
Yeah. And you know what? Go to One's Instagram page. They have it on their Instagram page. If you go to their Instagram page, let me see. Hip hop is dead. See, now I got Nas stuck in my head.
Yeah.
I know they had it on their Instagram page recently.
This is like when something's on the tip of your tongue and you can't. You're like,
This is
"What
driving
that?"
me fucking crazy.
This is like when I was doing Jake Shields. I was like, what's his name?
Oh,
What's his
wait a minute. Hold on. Go scroll up a little bit. What's that one on the left-hand side? What's the date of that one?
5 days ago.
Okay, it's somewhere in that range. Fuck. Wait a minute. Scroll up a little. Scroll up a little. Is that it right there?
No, one guy's
No,
wearing black,
that's a
one guy's
kale.
wearing white trunks.
Okay. Fucking.
I'm just looking for that now. I know.
Fuck.
I know. I want to go back to the video.
God damn it.
I'll take your
I
word.
feel like
I try to
can
visualize
find it. I feel like I can find it. Like nastiest submission ever. This is the most drawn out moment we've ever had on the podcast.
It's like we went to the
Nastiest
library and we're
choke
looking through
on
microfiche.
FC. Well, that ain't it. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know why it's in the thumbnail and then it's not. That's bad YouTubing. This could be it.
Damn it.
It's a gangster way to end the fight, though, is take away someone's oxygen, like COVID.
It's worse than it's worse than taking someone's oxygen away because the guy
I'll
basically.
find it.
All right.
I'll Google it.
Jamie's gonna find it. It's worse. You want a cigar?
Yeah,
You
I just
smoke
put a
cigars?
snooze in, but I'll smoke a cigar.
Hey. You put a snooze in?
Yeah,
You do those
sweetest
things?
snooze.
Do you
Yeah.
like those things?
Yeah,
It does make me nervous.
I do.
They don't make me feel good.
No?
Cigars make me relaxed.
Cigars are great conversation enhancers.
There, that's snooze stuff that makes me want to.
Barf.
Yeah,
Because you got to, like,
yeah, you
drink
gotta-
down the tobacco juice. I know.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
You like it? Did you
I
used
do
to smoke
love it.
cigarettes?
Yeah, well, I stopped and then I started. My wife caught me with a coat. You know, this is how you get caught when she just sent me a picture of the pack she found.
Oh.
And I was like, all right. And then she gave me, my daughter's
You
not going
have
to.
a child.
Yeah, you have a child.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife says the same shit when I get in an ice bath for 20 minutes. In the middle of the morning, I woke up to get up to work out, and she goes, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine. Feel great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a funny way to go, though. Just hypothermia and a
For
cold.
me?
Yeah.
For me, it'd be a perfect way to go. Look at that fucking moron. Look at him.
Yeah.
That's
Is that a lighter? Mm-hmm. Wow, this is an all-in-one. I think this one's out of juice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Here.
Sure.
Just one.
Thank you.
Fill it up. Son of a bitch. You find it, Jamie?
They have another article where they have the picture in the top on ONE FC's website. They have a picture of it. It says
Yeah,
top
that's
10.
it.
It says top 10 submissions, and it's not listed in the top 10 submissions.
What? Well,
Unless it's one of these, they don't have something else of. But
Terminator Guillotine. Isn't that it?
this,
What do you say?
that's that.
Is that it? No. Dude, no, it's not. That's a guillotine. That's like a guillotine from behind. 7. It's not in the list?
This Gogo Plata.
No, it's definitely
that's- I
not
didn't think it was any of
Gogoplata's
these.
your
I
leg.
know, that's why I didn't think it was any of these. Could be this
2.
Maestro choke, but
It might be just people.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
okay.
That's it. That's it.
So let me
So pull up that guy's name. So do you? Yeah, that is
Maestro
it.
Sadjuev. I don't.
Yeah, that's it. That's 100% it.
Okay, well, I don't
That's
know why the videos
definitely
don't come
okay. Here we go. Here we go.
It's still like
You fucks.
I checked most of these videos. It wasn't in it.
I tell you what,
sons of bitches.
The
That
way-
is the choke.
the way you described it is probably worth the wait.
That's not
It's
in it.
not.
There you
not
go.
That's
There-
it.
There you go.
That is it.
Jesus Christ.
There it is. That's 100% it. Okay, now you're gonna see.
Trying to find a G spot.
So he see, hear this. Look, he catches the choke, right? But then he turns him the other way. Look at this.
Yeah.
You got to see it from other angles,
This is
though.
all angles. It'll play it.
They'll show it in other angles, dude. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is so nasty. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that right there.
He's gonna he's gonna pop his neck off.
Yeah, it looks like his head's gonna go flying
Yeah.
off into the audience. What is that gentleman's name?
Yusuf.
Yusuf Sadulev. Yusuf Sadulev versus Jordan Lucas. Sorry, folks. I'm so sorry that I dragged you through this. If you're in your car, parked, waiting to go to work, going, "What the fuck, Rogan?"
It was worth it, though.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what.
Nasty, right?
Yeah, if there's ever a matchup between a dude named, what was his name? Jordan what? Lucas, and the other guy's name is
Yusuf
Vusnisny.
Sadulev.
I'm going with
Yeah.
the Vusnisny every time. Those dudes are killers.
they're in a different world right now. There's so many assassins from that part of the world that are coming over to either ONE FC or the UFC. I mean, the UFC has so many guys from Dagestan that are just dominant. I mean, first of all, you had Khabib. Now you got Islam Makhachev.
And that other dude who's like lanky, the tall guy.
Oh, yeah, Zabit Magomed-Shapirov. Yeah, he's... And then there's a whole boatload of them ready to take over that are next.
Yeah.
They're assassins,
They
man.
just wrestle with bears and then they get off the plane.
He goes, Khabib goes, I'm a mountain man.
Yeah.
Just saying that, I'm a mountain man.
Yeah.
They're scary people, man.
I remember when, somebody was like, I'll fight in the street. He's like, there's no street here. I'm from real mountain.
Yeah.
From real mountain.
What is street?
You don't have a street fight. Yeah, I'm from like he was saying it doesn't exist where you're from.
Yeah.
He's
What is street fight?
Street fight where he comes from is like fighting wild animals who have nature strength.
Well, those guys from the moment they're young, they're hard men.
Yeah.
This is the life. That's the path. It's combat sports. You ever see him play basketball?
Who, Khabib?
Yes.
No.
Will Harris, who is who's got the best footage of that?
I've seen a few more now where people are like, what the fuck are the rules of this game?
Oh, I saw that. I saw that where it was like jail rules, but like Dagestani jail rules where you could like kill a guy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, side out.
I got a video of Crow Cop doing it, I think. They call it MMA basketball.
Yeah, Will Harris is the best
Well,
footage of
slightly
it.
different,
Will
actually.
Harris, who does the best MMA documentary footage in all of the sport. He's the best. And Will's been on the podcast before. He does amazing shit. I thought he worked for the UFC at one point in time because they use so much of his footage. But he's an independent guy. He's fucking phenomenal. And he lived in Dagestan with these guys.
I saw that. The guy that did the series on it,
Yes.
like the docuseries. Yeah.
Will's
Black dude,
amazing.
yeah.
He's amazing. Well, Will filmed this thing that they do where they play basketball, but they wrestle with
it.
submissions.
I saw it, yeah.
So they take each other down on the hardwood floor, and they get each other in arm bars.
Yeah.
And if you tap, then they switch to a choke, and then you tap. Like, they keep control of you.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this game?
I don't know. All I know is I see a pattern in every sport. You see it in the Olympics now. Like, do we have any Americans on top of any sport? In basketball right now, it's like Yannis is the best player. Then in the UFC, it's like all Nigerians are dominating.
Well, there's still some great fighters that are Americans. There's great fighters from all nationalities, but there's no denying that in MMA, there's a lot of Dagestanis. Follow Will Harris Productions on Instagram. That's his Instagram, and his YouTube page is fucking amazing. Anatomy of a Fighter. He does a lot of great footage. I mean, he gets right in there with these guys, and he embeds himself in their camp. So you get the kind of footage that's really not possible if you just have cursory coverage where you're just like, okay, guys, for the next couple of hours, we're going to film you working out. No, he's like there with them all the time, and he's curating the best footage. So there's no dribbling the ball. They're trying to shoot the ball, but they're wrestling each other. Look, they're throwing each other to the ground. There's no fouls.
Yeah.
And then they have a mat over near where the fucking hoop is. There's a wrestling mat. So occasionally they take each other down. They just decide to start wrestling on the mat. It's like madness.
It's a pretty
hilarious.
nice shot by Khabib right there.
Curry range.
Not a bad shot, but there's no dribbling,
Yeah, no dribbling.
which is
More
funny.
like rugby.
Yeah, it's more like a basketball rugby type. Yeah, this is like rugby right here.
Yeah, look at this. Guys are blocking.
Yeah.
It's but they're doing it. The crazy thing is they're doing it on hardwood.
Yeah.
They're not doing this on a wrestling mat.
Now, are we sure that he didn't just do this because he knew it was an American journalist and they wanted to do like a diplomat? Like, hey, we play basketball too.
No. They do that. They do that constantly, man. They do it all the time. There's a lot of footage of it.
But I think about it. It's like Yannis and what's his name from Slovenia is like the best. Everything is like the rest of the world is beating us in everything. Like, look now, like our gymnasts are retiring because they're sad.
I don't see. This is what everybody's saying about that girl. I think a thing about that girl is her ADHD medication.
The deepest I could find was people discussing that in that. So then I outside looked up Ritalin in Japan. Turns up that currently the only drug used to treat ADHD that is legal in Japan is called Concerta, while Ritalin is available in Japan to treat sleep disorders. It's not prescribed for ADHD.
Imagine they giving you speed for sleep disorders.
Yeah.
What?
But it's not illegal though, right? Ritalin.
It says it's then going in. It says you maybe could get it. It's very hard to get, and then she could be not on it because it was hard for her to get a TUE because Japan rules trump Olympic rules or something.
I think that's what's going on. If you go to, I believe it was Chris Bell's Instagram page.
Oh, I saw him tweet it, but
I think you go to Big Strong Fast. He on Instagram. I think Chris Bell covered it and he's discussing what exactly is happening with that girl. So that's something that people needed to take it. So many people are shitting on her online and calling her a coward. It's disgusting. Like, you have no idea what's going on in her head. Are you she's supposed to play when she's suicidal? Is she supposed to play when she's freaking out? Is she supposed to do gymnastics when she's literally losing her mind? Like, when people get off prescription drugs, like Jordan Peterson was fucked up for a whole year when he was trying to get off benzodiazepine. I mean, I don't know what it's like to get off Ritalin, but I would imagine it's not fun.
Right. Yeah, it's withdrawal. Yeah. And
who knows?
The stuff that girl has done, I mean, she's the GOAT by a lot. I mean, she does stuff that's like superhuman.
Here it goes. Simone Biles, ADHD meds among common drugs banned from Olympics. So Simone Biles has revealed that she has ADHD and takes Ritalin for it. Correction, it was first told Adderall in the articles, looked it up. It's Ritalin. Very similar. He says, sorry. She received a therapeutic use exemption for it in 2016 and took home 4 gold medals in Rio. Fast forward to Tokyo 2020, and Ritalin and Adderall is 100% illegal in Japan under all circumstances, including therapeutic use. It is unfortunate because I'm sure we'd love to see her compete, but it makes sense that she couldn't focus. That does make sense. See, now, why are we not hearing this? Why am I getting this only from Chris Bell, who, by the way, made an incredible documentary, Bigger, Stronger, Faster, which is a documentary on steroids, and then another documentary, Prescription Thugs, which is about prescription medication. Great. He does great shit.
So I guess at this point, it's either that's true or what Jamie pulled up before is true. Like, we're not sure, because Jamie's saying the article he wrote is that it's not illegal.
I bet it might be illegal for competition.
Right.
It might be illegal as a therapeutic use exemption. You might not be able to get one of those.
Right.
Whatever Chris is saying. But it's a complicated story. It's not. I mean, this girl's. She won 4 gold medals in Rio. What do you?
She's
it's not like she's not a chicken.
She's the best of all time by all people's accounts.
Aren't they changing rules because she can do shit that other people can't do?
Yeah. She's insane. Right? Yeah. She like flies through the air. It's incredible.
Yeah, there was a video that was describing how they're literally like altering the rules to make what she does less impressive.
Right.
Or less scores less, whatever. I
Right.
don't follow gymnastics.
Yeah. I mean, most people don't until the Olympics. I mean,
Right.
That's the thing about Olympic sports. Like, these people, that must be a weird come down. Like, you know, the whole world's watching, and then you got to go back to working at Panera Bread. That's weird.
Yeah.
You're just a swimmer or like a shot put guy.
Uh-huh.
You win a gold, and then you're just back to handing out buzzers.
How much money do you make for a shot put?
I don't think they make anything from the Olympics.
You win the Olympics, and then what? You just teach shot put to people that also can't make money?
I have this new sports podcast, and
you do? What's it called?
Undefeated.
Who do you
I'm
do it
sorry,
with?
it's not called Undefeated.
You're lying.
Sorry, I had a little.
He's lying.
No, it's called Unleashed. I'm sorry. It's called
Jesus
Unleashed
Christ.
for BetMGM with me and Olivia Harlan Decker, and she's a sports journalist. But we interviewed Kerry Strung last week, and
Who is that?
She's the one in '96 who her ankle was done. She limped in, and then she needed a certain score for them to win gold, and then they won gold.
She did it with a bad ankle?
a
She
lot
did
of
with a
people are
bad ankle.
comparing this situation.
Oh,
Yeah.
saying
Same
that girl
situation.
gutted it out?
Yeah.
Well, she was forced to by her coach, and then they're going to that's the whole bad coaching situation with gymnastics.
Yeah, we interviewed her. She was all business. It wasn't it was
Wasn't
all
a good
business
interview?
Huh?
Wasn't fun?
I'm just saying it was all business.
What do you mean?
It was just a serious kind of interview.
Was it live in person?
No, Zoom.
That's a
always weird.
problem.
It's always weird in Zoom.
Zoom's too disconnected.
It was great, and she, but she was saying that because there, have you seen Athlete A, the documentary?
No.
Dude, it's called Athlete A. It's like hard. It's disturbing. Like, these girls are abused. Like that dude Nasser, molested for 20 years with impunity.
That's the doctor.
The doctor
right?
from,
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
believe, Michigan. He's on Team USA. And again, it was like this, bureaucratic cover-up. Like there was complaints about him, and they covered it up. They overlooked these allegations, and it was like the dude was like a hardcore pedophile who was like molesting these women. I mean, these girls. I mean, a lot of them are girls. He's like, they're girls. I mean, they're young children. He was like inserting fingers in their anus and in their vaginas, and for years and years and years and years and years. And Simone Biles was part of that. All these girls testified against him. And that was before Kerry Strong's era didn't really deal with that, but they dealt with the Karolis, who were like these, what are they, Romanian or something, like the husband-wife coaches, and they were like abusive and brutal. But when we interviewed Kerry, she was like, it was like, she didn't seem like she was bothered by it. But these girls go through a lot, dude. They sacrifice a lot, and they're like pushed and abused with their bodies. And so Kerry Strong, the documentary portrays that moment, the Athlete A documentary portrays that moment as like an abusive moment because her ankle was hurt, and then she came down on the ankle and she was really hurt. But then like you can see the coach, the Karolis, they were like making her go back out there for that next, for the vault or whatever it's called. Whatever.
And she did it.
And she did it and she got the score. As it turned out, she didn't even need that score for some reason. I don't understand gymnastics that well, but she did a heroic thing on that ankle, and she had to be carried off and then put in a stand, and she was really hurt. So the documentary portrays it as abusive, but when we interviewed Kerry Strong, she kind of portrayed it as like she had to reach down deep and do it. So it's interesting.
Well, it's a good way to look at it. That's an empowered person, right? An empowered person looks at it like they figured out a way to summon the strength.
Yeah.
A disempowered person says, it was abusive, I was abused, they told me to do it, I shouldn't have done it. Even though we won the goal, I shouldn't have done it.
Right.
But what if her ankle's permanently damaged? What if you're limping for the rest of your life because some asshole coach wants you to do something?
Right.
So you can get a piece of metal around a cloth string.
Right. That's no good either.
It's weird.
Especially when you're making a kid. Like these gymnasts are like 14. Like making them make that decision. I mean, they don't really have agency at that age. And I think that's what made the Karolis so controversial is because they were like robots for this husband-wife coach team. And they pushed them really hard, and they separated them from their parents, and they make them do. I mean, to compete on that level and do that type of stuff, who knows what kind of sacrifices and sort of pushing that they need that may, mentally too. Just, I mean, you watch some of what they do, you're going like, how's that humanly possible?
Right.
They're like landing on a bar it's like 6 inches wide, and they're flipping on it and stuff like that. I mean, I'd have no dick if I did that. Why just fall on my dick?
Well, a lot of dudes don't do it, do they?
The dudes do it too.
The flips and everything on the balance
they do
bar?
all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dudes do all that.
Why do you only see girls on TV do it?
Because it's hotter.
It's hotter.
Yeah, I think it's hotter.
But they're girls.
But they're
you
girls.
fucking
That's the
creep.
problem. I know.
How dare you
well,
say
some of them are
hotter.
24. One of them was 40.
The ones are 24.
20. One of them was
46, right?
The old one was 46, and that's old for gymnastics. But
that's old for humans.
46.
46 to be doing that kind of shit.
Oh, to be doing that kind of shit, yeah.
I mean, your joints, 46 years of flipping and landing and all the abuse it took. She looked pretty fucking good for a 46-year-old.
She looked good, but next to those girls, she looked ancient, which is because, she was...
Because she is.
Compared to them, yeah.
Compared to them?
Yeah.
For that sport?
For that sport.
Like as a fighter, a 46-year-old fighter is like, Jesus Christ, don't die in there.
Right. Well, George Foreman was doing it in his 40s.
Yes, he was.
He was doing it.
He won the heavyweight title at 45.
He did.
Against Michael Moore, who was a beast.
Who was a beast, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he can be done.
How about Hopkins? Hopkins is a world champion deep into his 40s.
Almost 50, I think. Yeah.
He was beating world-class guys at 50 years old.
Yeah. He had that, defense. He just had that style where he figured out how to not get hit.
He was so disciplined, too. Never fucked his body up, never ate processed foods, always exercised, never got out of shape. Yeah. Still to this day.
Tom Brady, 43, 44, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
To be still competing at that level.
I know.
Yeah. He doesn't eat anything inflammatory either. He must drink adrenochrome, too. There must be an adrenochrome. They have a Slurpee machine.
Did you see that fucking ridiculous moment where Biden gets interviewed? They're asking him a question. And he said, well, the Republicans think we drink baby blood.
Right.
Like, what?
Uh-huh.
Did you see that, Jay?
I did see it.
It's like, what are you saying, man? Why are you even bringing that up?
Right. Thou doth protest too much.
That guy's lost.
Yeah.
He's lost. It's sad.
He's
President Kamala.
President Kamala.
Say it.
You know what's funny is it's sad because Kamala, she was one of the first people skeptical of the vaccine when she's like, I'm not taking that Trump vaccine.
Have you seen that video of them? Have you ever seen that video? Where they all talk about it? Joe Biden talks about it, not taking it. How's this been vetted?
Yeah,
have you seen that video?
I might have. I don't remember it. But yeah, I mean, everything has consequences, man. You know, people do things for the short-term advantage for them, but then, you know, long-term, they're going like, how come people aren't taking the vaccine? It's like, dude, you were saying the vaccine was dangerous fucking...
When it was Trump's.
When it was Trump. Yeah. So you're the first ones to politicize it.
Yeah, I'll find it. I got a video in here of it.
Kamala's, her approval rating is not high, though, even amongst the Dems.
It shouldn't be. Yeah. It'd be even lower if they went into her past. If they looked at her, what she's done in terms of prosecuting people, what Tulsi Gabbard said during the debates, the vice presidential debates,
she crushed her.
Debates. It's
that
100% true. That's what she said is 100% true. Yeah. She kept people after the time they were supposed to be released. And then Josh Dubin on this podcast talked about how she withheld evidence that would have exonerated prisoners. She fought to stop DNA evidence from being introduced into a case that would have exonerated defendants.
Brutal.
Yeah.
That was her DA's office, right? Like she was the DA in San Francisco?
Yeah. I mean, look, man, it's a sport and they try to win. That's what it's like. When you are dealing with someone who's a prosecuting attorney, what those people are doing is trying to win. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they do. They win. And the way to win is by whatever means necessary, whatever means you have at your disposal. One of the best ways to do that is to if you have some evidence that will make a guy seem innocent, hide that shit.
Right.
Put it away. Get rid of it. That's the gross thing about cops in general, is that cops are trying to get, like, a lot of cops will talk about this, and I don't think it's supposed to be legal, but they have mandates. Like, you're supposed to arrest you're supposed to. You have a quota of so many people you're supposed to arrest. And I always said, like, what if nobody did any crime for like 6 months? What would they do?
Right.
What if all crime stopped and the cops have these quotas? How would the cops be treated? Would they say, hey, good job, everybody? Would they be treated like firefighters? Right? Because firefighters, they take these fucking long 24-hour shifts. They hang out in the fire department. They lift weights. They cook.
Yeah.
They hang out.
They're good cooks too, which is funny.
A lot of them are
like
a
a real tough guy being like, let's do tonight's chicken franchise.
Yeah. And they put a little parsley on it.
Yeah, tonight we're doing it's my mother's recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
But no one's saying, hey, you got to put out a certain amount of fires every day.
Right.
Because, they're hoping there's no fires.
Right.
But they're never hoping there's no crime.
No, I remember that was like a big problem in Ferguson, is that they were like harassing those residents to fill quotas, jaywalking and bullshit.
Yeah.
That if you did that in a white neighborhood, they'd be like, do you know who my father is? Like, they wouldn't go for it.
Cops in a lot of places are glorified revenue collectors because they're trying to get money for speeding. They're trying to get money for all these different things. It's not just as simple as you're trying to stop crime. I'm here to serve and protect. That's not what it is.
That's a great way to put it. They are. They kind of there to get money for the city in some ways, and they're instructed to do so.
How much money do you think is generated in a place like Los Angeles just from speeding tickets? It's probably absurd.
Yeah.
It's probably absurd. It's
Yeah.
probably off the charts.
Yeah.
Speeding tickets, traffic violations.
Right.
Los Angeles, I think, might be higher with like parking than speeding.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just fucking collect
They're
them.
brutal.
Yeah.
They
They're
do that
brutal.
in New York too. New York is crazy with the parking.
Oh, they're fucking horrific.
Yeah, the whole the street sweeping scam where they just like push around dust. They make you double park on another side, and then the street sweeper comes by and you just push his leaves around. And if you leave, you gotta like wake up early enough to move your car. If not, you're paying a ticket.
Yeah, living in the city like that, parking on the street is rough.
Oh, dude, now that I live in the country, I can't even believe I used to do that. It's
Where
crazy.
are you living now? Don't tell specifically. 'cause
Yeah, I'm
people
like
listen.
in the country, like
In the
upstate.
woods.
Yeah, in the
The
woods.
forest.
Yeah, the forest.
Where the rocks are.
I
The
live in
big
a-
rocks.
Yeah.
And the trees.
I live in
How far is it to you to get in the city?
about an hour 15. But like I got bears. I'm like living there. Like horses everywhere.
bears?
There's bears. Bear shit in my backyard.
You ever eat a bear?
No, I have not eaten a bear.
Bears taste good.
Yeah?
It tastes good. Yeah. It's odd. It's
What haven't you
oddly
eaten?
good.
You're ready to survive if things. You know how to eat. I don't know how to eat a bear.
It's not hard to eat a bear.
No?
I could cook some bear for you.
Yeah?
Yeah, you come over there. I don't have any bear.
you do it on the Traeger grill?
100%.
Right.
100%.
With
I
some
would wanna make
jalapenos?
sure. Oh yeah. I'd want to make sure it's cooked. It's got to be above 145 for a long period of time. Like the best way to do bear is to apparently. I'm learning this. My friend Clay Newcomb schooled me on this as well. The thing you have to worry about is trichinosis. Anytime you're eating an animal.
Right, the predator thing.
Yes.
Right.
So with trichinosis, you want to make sure that you're cooking it to at least 145 degrees. Really, it's the same thing as pork. They want you to cook it to 165, although they've kind of backed that down with domestic pork because they really don't have an opportunity to get trichinosis. They're not out in the wild. But wild pork, you definitely want to get it a little higher. And you do sous vide. So you take it in a sous vide bag, and you know what sous vide is? You know what that means? No. Sous vide is they take these bags, like a plastic bag. You seal the meat in a bag. Generally, you do it with some seasoning and maybe some butter or something like that, and then you dip it in water, and you put a wand in the water. See if you can pull up Joule sous vide. I forget how you spell it.
Wait, so there's a risk if you have bear or wild that you'll die from the trichinosis?
No, you won't die. You just it sucks.
You get real sick,
real achy, and your muscles hurt, and it eventually goes away. But a couple of my buddies got trichinosis. It's not. He said it was not that bad.
Right.
But he said it's not fun. But he said it's like illuminating. Like, oh, it's not what I thought it was. But if you ever ate my friend, you would get trichinosis.
If I ate your friend?
Yeah, you get it from him because it stays in the body.
Oh.
Like these little spores. There it is. So that's Joule. I got one of these things. They're awesome. And so you put in a pot of water, and then you heat the water. The water heats to 145 degrees, and you could cook it at that temperature for hours. Some guys do it like they'll do 120 for a good piece of like a venison shank where it's like a tough piece of meat. You put it in the sous vide, and you'll cook it like a venison shoulder, for instance, which has a lot of fascia and connective tissue. You cook it at 125 degrees for 12, 13 hours, maybe more. And then all that stuff breaks down, becomes incredibly tender. Then when you take it out, you sear it on the outside. You take like a cast iron frying pan, and you put like some lard in there or some tallow, some beef tallow. Sear it on there, and then you cut it off and slice it, and oh my God, so tender and delicious because it's just been sitting at that temperature, that perfect temperature where it's cooked. It doesn't overcook because it can't get any warmer. Right? Like if you cook something on a grill, you're cooking it at 265 degrees. You eat a 265 degrees piece of meat, it's done. It's fucked up. Right? That's shoe leather. So at 265, you want to have a thermometer in that bitch to make sure it gets to like 120. Then you pull it, and then you sear it on the outside. That's what I do. But with the sous vide, you sit it in there for hours and hours and hours, and it becomes
just like a butter, like
so tender.
Just falls apart in your mouth.
Yeah, and then when you get it out of there, and then you sear it.
Yeah. Or
you could take it on like one of those Traeger Rangers, where it has like the flat cast iron flat thing, and you sear it on that bad boy.
I feel bad eating a bear though.
Fuck bears. They eat kids.
They do.
Bears are
It's
assholes.
not their fault,
they
though.
eat their own kids. How about that?
Do they?
Fuck yeah. I watched it.
Yeah.
I've seen them eat babies.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen them eat babies, but I've seen babies that they ate. I've seen like paws from like cubs.
Yeah, I saw this one video of a polar bear just like chasing.
Oh yeah, a little baby polar
bear. And the mother was trying to like stop it, but it was like
no. Cannibalism runs rampant, but it's
because they're hungry though. It's hard to. That's the thing about nature. Nature documentaries, they portray them as like the predators is like mean, and you're always rooting for like the antelopes or whatever. But it's like they fail most of the time. Predators fail most of the time.
Oh yeah.
So if you put it in that context, you'd almost be happy for them when they got one, because like a million of them got away that you don't see. You know, the media. I'm telling you, the media.
It's the fucking media.
It's the fucking media.
But it's also, you have to have the predators, otherwise the prey animals would overrun the earth.
Yeah.
If nothing's eating them. And you have situations like New Zealand where they have to fly over these herds of invasive species animals that they reintroduced to this country. They introduced a bunch of stags and all these different animals, and occasionally they get so overpopulated they have to fly over and gun them down from helicopters.
Right.
Because there's no predators.
Wild hogs in Texas, right? There's just too many of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got a video I'll show you of this mountain lion trying to chase down, I think it's a wild sheep, and catches it. And as it's catching it, it goes over the side of a cliff with this fucking thing, it's wild.
Mountain lions are killed like wholesale because they take your dog, right? Like, but those
Oh
are
yeah.
those
They're
are,
not killed wholesale in California.
No.
In California, they just let them run rampant. Where they're killed a lot is in Texas. In Texas, you don't even have to have a license. You don't have to have anything. You just whack them.
They're big though, mountain lions.
Oh
They're
yeah,
real
man.
big.
That's the video, Jamie. You're the man. Let's see it. Rewind it from a different. So he's chasing after it. He catches him and watch him go off the side of the cliff. Boom! Oh, it's not a mountain lion. It's a snow leopard. Watch this.
Oh,
Boom! 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 Fuck! 400 feet off a cliff.
they're both dead, right?
No, the cat still survives, man. That's what's crazy. Look at the end. The cat still has him.
Fuck.
That is just, I mean, imagine that's your life. That's how you eat.
It's gotta be.
Boom. I mean,
Yeah.
look how he hits the ground. Cats are so fucking resilient. They are really amazing animals.
They're like the most beautiful killers.
Oh, yeah. Well, they kill. They don't like the thing about wolves and bears and a lot of those other animals. They hold things down and just start eating.
Yeah.
Cats kill first.
Yeah. Which is cool. That's kind of cool.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It's
when
nice
you
of
watch
them.
hyenas start to eat something alive, you're going like, that's a little bit of a dick move.
Huge dick.
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
The Komodo dragons, that's a dick move.
They bite you and wait.
Yeah, they wait and they hang out and then
They know
just,
that the poison from their saliva, all the fucking horrible shit inside their mouth, it slowly starts to. I forget if Komodo dragons have toxic saliva, if it's a poison, like if it's a venom, or if it's
I
actually
think it's
just
a
the.
bacteria.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
They're just filthy,
Disgusting.
naughty bitches. Yeah.
Slimy fucks. They got slime coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, they're brutal, dude.
You ever seen their mouth when they open their mouth up and it's just dripping slime like that Venom in
Yeah.
that cartoon, that Marvel Comics guy, Venom? Like,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the teeth and the fucking slime.
They're evil.
It's both Venom and the bacteria. Oh, double whammy.
Yeah. The reptiles just don't give a fuck, man. They don't have feelings.
It's horrible.
Cats
New
neither.
study
though.
says that it was venom, not toxic bacteria.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm wrong. It is venom.
I thought,
Well,
but
I
there still is
guarantee you, though, if you put a swab in their mouth, it's not going to come back
I know,
clean.
yeah.
It's not Purell in there.
Yeah, it says blood poisoning caused by multiple strains of bacteria in the dragon saliva. So I guess.
Oh, it is bacteria.
But,
Yeah.
Oh, it's long thought. Sorry, long thought. Now, a new study says.
They're vicious. They stalk you, right? Then they'll bite and then just follow you around until you start to get paralyzed from their poison, and then they just start eating you alive. It's tough to watch.
It's a rough life.
Yeah, they're scary.
Sharon Stone's boyfriend got bit on the foot by a Komodo dragon once at the zoo.
What was he doing that close to a Komodo
Not
dragon?
only was he's close to a Komodo dragon, but he had his shoes off. I forget what happened, but I think the Komodo dragon thought that his sock, like his white sock, was a rabbit or something like
Right.
that, and bit his foot and fucked him up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to go through what the prey animals go through.
What's that, Jamie?
This is not for viewing online, but you guys can enjoy it with me
Why can't we view it online?
because it's very graphic and not
Yeah,
our video.
I
Is that a
mean,
monkey?
yeah.
Oh, bro.
It's still alive. It grabs its head here.
Oh,
Yeah.
go from the beginning.
I did.
Take it from the beginning,
That's
please.
the beginning right there.
So he just grabs him by the head.
Yeah.
The monkey's like, no.
Yeah.
And just starts swallowing. The
Monkey's like, hold on.
No. Let me get a do-over.
Yeah, let's talk for a second.
Look how he's swallowing it, too. Just choking it back. Look at the monkey's hands. He's
Yeah.
still moving his
Still
hands
moving.
like, fuck.
Swallowing it whole.
The thing about
and
monkeys, too, is they're smart. So the monkey knows what's going on.
Yep.
It is very much alive. Right? Look at his hand.
Yeah, it's still
His
moving.
hand coming out of the mouth. Like, hey, let me out, bro.
Oh God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That is incredible, dude.
They are.
Look at the eyes. Just soulless creeps.
cold.
All they're there is to clean up.
Yeah.
They're there to clean up. They're there to make sure that things don't overpopulate. That's literally their role in nature. And that's what's so fascinating about nature is that the ecosystem and that there's look at his fucking
fucked up.
heartless eyes, right?
It's just the teeth or the hands and a tail sticking out.
Oh, look at the foot. The
He's gonna
foot with
wink
the
at you
thumb.
like you're next.
Yes, you're next.
Did blink.
Yeah, they're the most terrifying to me.
Reptiles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reptiles.
reptiles, lizards, crocodiles. Crocodiles, I think, are the most terrifying because they're so aggressive and they move fast.
Yeah.
But these things are pretty fucking gross. Look at that fucking thing, too. Look at his neck. just all filled up with monkey.
Yeah, he's full. He's got the itis now.
He's got the tail pop. Look at the slime, that fucking gross, juicy slime that comes out of his mouth. He's still got the tail out. He hasn't finished chewing.
He's drooling like a baby teething.
Yeah, he can't fit it in all the way. Look. Oh, God, he's so disgusting.
Just blood on the side of his face. Clean yourself up.
I wonder what they taste like.
Monkeys?
No.
Dragons.
Dragons.
You're definitely going to have to.
I wonder if it's delicious.
Caught a deer. That must have been.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could chase him down.
Yeah,
Dude, there's videos of them with like big buffalo or something, and just like eating a part of it.
just
You're
chewing
You just
hunks
watch
out of it.
the buffalo just looking around. Yeah.
And just pulling intestines out.
Yeah. I mean,
Bro.
the Komodo dragons could care less. They're just biting.
This guy had a really good point. He was talking about cows, and he was like, people say it's unnatural to eat cows. He goes, no, it's very, very natural to eat cows. He goes, if you left cows wild, none of them live to be old age.
Right.
He goes, none of them die of old age, 0%. All of them get eaten and killed by predators, and it's a slow, horrible, painful death. He goes, when people raise cows, especially if people raise cows humanely, he goes, those cows live a wonderful life, and they have one bad day.
I don't want to focus on this, but right here on this, he's eating a boar. It looks like he's sniffing out a particular part and then starts going after the insect. Do you know what it might be, like liver? Something?
Probably. Look, yeah, he's looking for the guts.
Maybe he's just a foodie and he wants like
He wants the guts.
he wants the good stuff. Oh God.
Starts getting in
Fucking
there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the.
Oh, he's alive.
Oh,
Of course
yeah.
it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, gee, he's holding down his legs.
Yeah, it's just a
And
rough day.
Guts first. Oh, Jesus
fuck
fucking
now.
Christ. And the thing is already poisoned, right?
Yeah.
He's already bit it. So, we
it's
got
ripped
to.
open.
Yeah, they
Oh,
open him up.
Jesus. And look at it breathing. Like it could get up and run away if it wasn't for the poison. And now he's got a goddamn hole in it. Oh, we're so soft, Yannis. We're so lucky. We're so lucky that people before us figured out houses and spears and guns and weapons. And, you know, they say that the reason why little kids are scared of monsters and not child molesters or bullets or car accidents. Little kids are scared of monsters because there's like a deep primate response to cats. We're afraid of big cats at night because that's what killed our ancestors.
Interesting.
And that information is in a child's brain.
Right.
The same way like a dog knows to piss on a tree. You don't have to tell a dog.
Right.
Right? Dog sees a squirrel, immediately goes after him. There's like some deep set instinct. Even my dog, which is like the friendliest, sweetest dog, my golden retriever, he sees a squirrel and he's like, "Ruff!"
Yeah.
He wants to go after that
Let's
fucking squirrel.
kill
He
it.
can't help it. Oh, Jesus,
Yeah.
Jamie, why?
It's a piñata. There's a lot of candy in there.
Oh, Jesus, look at it, still alive, and he just pulled out a hunk of his guts.
Yeah.
That's a gnarly video for
It
everyone
is,
to watch
dude.
later.
Hyenas do that too.
What's the title of the video?
Komodo dragon eats wild boar alive, not for sensitive viewers. And it was posted recently. So
Meanwhile, why is that okay on YouTube, but you can't have vaccine disinformation? You know, you can't have anything to say. Up until recently, you couldn't have anything to say that the virus came from a lab. They would pull it down.
Yeah.
They let those up now. I wonder if they re-put them back. All those YouTube videos they took down because they said the virus leaked from a lab.
Well, Facebook didn't allow you for months. They were like deactivating your accounts and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
For the truth.
And then Jon Stewart comes on and does that great joke. It's so funny on Colbert. Where Colbert, you can see Colbert doesn't know what to do. He's like,
Panicking.
yeah, he's panicking.
Isn't it disappointing?
It was disappointing.
It
It was
was.
like, and it was like you could see everyone going, like you could probably see like censors going, can't compute. Jon Stewart, liberal hero, saying this, can't compute,
Yes.
meltdown. What do we do here? Can't censor it.
I know.
But, I mean,
Colbert is essentially trying to kill the bit. He's
He
trying
is.
to kill the bit.
He's trying to kill the bit.
If that was your friend, like if you went on a guy's podcast, you were saying something like that, and you saw him try to kill the bit, you'd be like, "What?" Like if you and Joe List are sitting there,
Yeah.
and Joe List starts to kill your bit, you'd be like, "Joe, what the fuck are you doing?
stepping on my shit.
What
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing here?
I'd be like,
Stepping on this great bit."
yeah, totally.
You know, if you're sitting there across from Ari Shafir, and you guys are talking, and Ari starts killing your bit, you'd be like, "Bro."
I'd be excited that he wasn't saying something else about a celebrity.
Or pulling his dick out.
Yeah, he asked me. He asked me recently. He's like, "Dude, why do you go to Austin so much?" I said, "Dude, because you know being friends with you is dangerous. I got to dip out of town once in a while when the Bloods and Crips get hot on me."
He's gonna come here too. He knows it. He was here a couple weeks ago. He's like, "It's fucking great here." I go, "Yeah, it's fun, right?" He's
Yeah,
like,
well, think about it. You can't go to L.A., so might as well come here. Kobe never played for a team here, right?
No, I have news about the club I'm opening. I'll tell you as soon as we get off the air. But we got good news. I got some good shit happening.
I'd like to hear it. Yeah.
God, it took forever. And I'll explain everything. I got to do it off air. Unfortunately, I'll explain everything because I should have had a club open already. It was the idea was to be open July 4th weekend.
Right.
But becoming a club owner is fucking complicated. And I used to tell comics all the time, please be nice to these club owners, because they always treated the club owners like, in the beginning it was like, oh, they're not paying me what I'm worth, or they won't headline me, or they won't give me a chance, or they don't give me any work. And then eventually it became, like when you start doing well, you realize like, oh, this is their business, this is how they make money. You should look at it correctly. And what I always tell them, like, you don't want to be a club owner, right? Who wants to deal with us? I don't want to deal with a bunch of comics.
Craziest people.
You want to deal with fucking just wild people that want to do drugs and stay up all night, and they show up the next day and they forget their jokes. And come on, do you want to deal with that? No. And you got to sell tickets to these fucking crazy people? You're gonna tickets to see these wild people tell nutty jokes? No. Be nice to them. You don't want to be a club owner.
Right.
Now that I'm becoming a club owner, I'm realizing it's even more complicated than that. The business end of it, just commercial real estate,
right.
The regulations, the hoops, environmental concerns. I'll tell you about that.
Right.
We'll talk about that after the show.
Right.
Because that's what happened with me.
Right.
Like environmental issues. You're like, what?
Especially for you. I mean, you're a busy guy. So
Yeah.
this is like one of many things you do.
Yeah.
So,
but it's important to me. It's very important. Part of the whole project about moving to Austin, I had this plan. And one big part of the plan is not just get, a podcast studio established, get everything going, help all the other comics out and try to boost everybody's signal. The big plan is to have like a fantastic comedy club, which only exists for comedy. I just want to break even. I'm not trying to make any money with this comedy club. Right. I want it to be the best place for comics to perform, where you make great money, where you have a great time, everybody takes care of you from top to bottom, and there's no worry about like cutting corners or pinching pennies. There's none of that. Everyone's treated like fucking gold. And I want everybody to feel so comfortable. That's my goal. It's my 100%. Everybody, from management to bartenders to everybody. You're treated like gold. You make great money. You got great healthcare coverage. Everything's taken care of.
Healthcare coverage.
I want to take care of comics.
Yeah.
I want to take care of comics. I know so many comics that don't have healthcare. I want to give them healthcare. I want to just across the board. My whole goal is to not make money.
Right.
My whole goal is to not lose money. That's it.
Well, you don't need. Technically, you're in a good position to say
why,
that. Yeah.
But that's why I want to do it.
It's
that
a beautiful
way.
thing, man. You've helped so many comics as is. If it wasn't for this show, there's no other alternative for guys who really want to be funny. To
get wild.
To get wild and be uncensored and be funny. Like there's no platform. You've done that for comics. It's a great thing.
It's because I don't listen. I don't listen to the people that, like when you go through steps of progress and steps of, like financial success and popularity success, like it comes to a point in time where you go into this rarefied air where everybody starts to play it safe.
Right.
They go, hey, we're dealing with very large sponsors.
Right.
There's a lot of money at stake here, and I don't think you should have Alex Jones on anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, nope, he's coming on next week, and we're getting drunk. Woo! And you got to do it that way. It's the same thing with Kill Tony. I tell everybody, like Fitzsimmons was on yesterday. We were talking about how he did Kill Tony on Monday night, and there's a guy in the fucking green room handing out mushrooms. Everybody's doing mushrooms. Greg got so high, he goes, I didn't even know what I was saying while I was saying it. Everyone's barbecued. They went on stage. This guy, Hans Kim, who came on the show last night, was fucking hilarious. This young kid who's on Kill Tony all the time. He opened up for me last night. He's going on tonight at the same thing. He met some girl, like they said at the show, they said, who wants to have sex with this man? And this girl came on stage. She goes, I'll have sex with him. And so her boyfriend was there. And she goes, the boyfriend's cool. He just wants to be there while it happens. Like, what? So he and the girl sneak off into a fucking janitor's closet and fuck while the show's going on. Like, this is happening.
Wow.
This is wild shit. The jokes are hilarious, but it's like there's chaos.
There's chaos.
Like it's chaos.
Wow.
But everybody's nice.
Yeah.
They're all nice. They're all nice people having a good time.
Right.
And like that's what I want to cultivate. I want to cultivate
People fucking
wild
into it.
comedy, wild shit.
Come down to Joe's.
But be nice. Be nice. Everybody's nice.
Somebody gets fucked in the bathroom while the show's going on. Yeah.
Good times. Everybody's willing. It's like they decided to do it. They had a good time.
Yeah.
Fun.
Wow, that's a wild night. That's a wild show.
It's the cornerstone for comedy in Austin. It really is, because it allows open micers to have this unique opportunity to do 1 minute in front of Ron White or Tim Dillon. Or have you done it?
I haven't done it yet. Yeah.
God damn, you got to do it.
He's asked me about it. I got to do it.
Next time you come on, let's organize it so that you'll come on a Monday, and you and I'll go on together.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's what we'll do. We'll have you on next time. We'll do the show on Monday, and then Monday night we'll go and do Kill Tony.
That sounds great.
Fuck, it's the cornerstone of this community. It really is.
Right. It gives comics a real opportunity to.
And they can really, like William Montgomery, he's opened for me before. Genevieve, she's opened for me before. Hans Kim, he opened for me last night. A lot of these comics. David Lucas.
Right. David Lucas is funny, man.
Funny.
Yeah,
David Lucas is a killer.
Yeah.
He's a killer and he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's a fun dude to be around.
Yeah.
He's a good dude too because like Tony and him crack on each other, and when Tony gets him, he laughs loud, loud and hard, which is a sign of a good guy.
Yeah,
a guy who takes a hit, like and laughs.
Yeah,
like Tony will say something to him, and he's like, bah! It's a beautiful environment where comics get a chance, and comics have gone on to have legitimate, like Ali Makovsky. She's got a legitimate career. She's headlining. She goes on the road. She's headlining now. It's amazing, and it started out from Kill Tony.
Yeah, and it's cool that it's live and it's comedy fans, and it's not on TV. It's kind of grassroots, which is how things go now. Well,
they tried to do it on Comedy Central for a while, and Comedy Central didn't take it, and I'm glad they didn't because they would have changed it. They would have look. They have executives, and those executives have mortgages, and they have families, and they have kids in private school, and they don't want to fuck it up. They don't want anybody fucking anybody in some janitor's closet.
Right?
Hey! Don't say that.
Right.
Can you edit that out? Can you edit that part out?
Right.
Where Hans fucked the girl in the closet.
Right.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen on there.
That's the thing about having a podcast like this. It's like if you do it like this the entire time and never stop doing it the same way.
Right.
You just never change how you do it.
Yeah.
It's hard because you get a lot of resistance. There's a lot of resistance. But you got to cut all that resistance out. You got to figure it out a way. I have the best managers. That's one of the beautiful things about it. Is the managers know. They know who I am. They know what I do. They love me. I love them. And it just works.
Right.
They don't
try to tell you anything.
They don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
And they take care of everything. They take care of all the business aspect of it and leave me going.
Right.
And I've been with them for so long. I've been with my manager for 30 years.
That's almost unique.
He found me when I was an open micer.
Yeah.
Dude, we don't even have a contract.
Right. That's unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's family.
Right.
And so is Chandra. The both of them, they're a team. They're family.
Right.
So it's like, for me, it's the best. Because I'm just completely relaxed in that department. And I don't have to think. Like when I go on vacation, like I went on vacation last week, I don't pay attention to anything.
Right.
I just lay around the beach. I drink margaritas. I play with my kids. I just fucking go in the water and snorkel and shit.
Right.
I'm not thinking, and that's so important to be free.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard because you want to read things. You want to find out what's going on and how are the ticket sales in Boise. You start thinking of things like, how's that going? How's this going?
Right.
But you can't. You can't concern yourself with it. The only thing you got to do is do your best. Do your best at what you do. And the more you pay attention to outside of what you do, like how other people are viewing what you do and what you should do or shouldn't do to get this amount of money or that thing or this new advertiser doesn't like you saying cunt, like, ugh. You can't.
Right.
You can't. It'll ruin it.
It's hard when you're coming up, like when you're, it's hard not to think about the ticket sales. That's the dream, to not think about the ticket sales, just know and go and have fun and just think about the jokes. But it's hard to get to that point, guys.
It's very hard.
You need a platform. You need somebody to put you on. You need a show, something to...
That's what I want to help with.
Yeah.
That's my goal with comics, to just take these talented people that have a dream and give them a hand. Reach up. Come on up here. Let's all do this together.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about the podcast world is that everybody supports everybody. And the people that don't, these weird island people, meaning these people that live in an island separate from the community of comedy, they only want it to be about themselves. The only relationships they have with comics are these comics that open for them, that are always below them. They don't have like intimate relationships with people that are their peers. They're creeps.
Yeah, what is up with that? Why?
Selfish.
Yeah, but it's crazy because it's like the dream. It's like, why would you rather an industry person or a booker tell you you're great, or would you rather another comic be like, you're great, let me help you? That's like the dream. And that there's no competition that, because it used to be all guys were competing for a few spots.
Right.
So I understand that there was competition because, like, to get booked, you have to be one of a few. But now it's wide open. The internet is like the universe.
It's beautiful.
It's endless. So
but
you
some
can
guys,
share.
there's still competition, right? They look at other guys who are doing podcasts. Like, they'll look at the iTunes ratings, and maybe they'll be number blah, 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 and someone's one above them, and they're like, fuck. How's he there?
Right.
I should be number 3.
Right.
He's number 3. I should be number 3. And they get mad. Why am I not number 1?
Right.
Fucking New York Times or fucking this and that. And they get crazy.
Right.
You get crazy and you think about things that are not important.
Right.
Like when I was on news radio one time, we were all sitting around and they were talking about, they would all read Variety and the Hollywood Reporter. And I would call those things the devil's rag. You guys are reading the devil's rag again. Why are you reading that shit? And they were complaining that Friends, like Friends always had this amazing time slot. It was like Seinfeld and Friends. And then there was some show shoved in there like Caroline in the City and The Single Guy. Do you remember those shows?
Yeah.
Do you?
I do remember them, yeah. I didn't watch them, but
Nobody
I remember.
watched them.
Yeah.
They would, Paul Sims, the producer of News Radio, the creator, executive producer of News Radio.
I watched News Radio. It
He
was
used to call those shows the shit sandwich because
they
they were
were
sandwiched in between these great shows. And I remember we were all sitting around and everybody was going, God, why can't we be on Thursday night after Friends? And they were complaining about this stuff. And I go, hey, guys, last time I checked, we're on TV.
Right.
I go, we're on TV. We have a fucking TV show.
Right.
Like, we're on, like, season 3 of a TV show. We get paid.
Right.
Like, I think I was making, like, $25,000 a week. I was like, this is wild.
Right.
This is crazy.
When you start looking other places and comparing yourself to other people, that's when you start fucking yourself.
I've heard that the people from Friends are making $1 million a week. And I was like,
Right.
$1 million?
Right.
$1 million a week?
Right.
You get angry. You get angry. But it's all in perspective. It's just...
It's tough when you're starting not to not do that.
Yeah.
Like, I've started a new podcast called Long Days, and like I'm just focused on it, but it's hard because I'm starting to not look at other people and go like, fuck, I'm behind. It's it's not going to work. It's tough, but then you have to just like when you make it, it's easy. When your seats are sold, it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to climb, you do end up looking at other places as markers for success, and then you become aware that you're not there.
You do, but I think that focus on other stuff, it takes away from the focus that you have on doing the best job.
Totally.
And I think the real success comes from the grind. You just got to grind. Every day. You got to just keep doing the same thing and do it the best you can every day. And ultimately, trust in the process. And after time, you see success.
Right.
But when people say, like, what is the difference between your podcast and other podcasts? I'm like, first of all, I don't know. Like, realistically. I'd say I know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just did it.
Yeah.
But the thing that does stand out that I could say definitely is when everybody else was doing 1 a week or 1 every 2 weeks, I was doing 3 a week or 4 a week. I was doing a lot of them.
And what made you decide to do that? Is it just something you wanted to do, or were you conscious that other people weren't doing it, or did you just do it because you wanted?
A little bit of it was conscious that other people weren't doing it. Another thing I was saying, it's not hard; it's fun to do. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, give them more content, and then they'll become addicted to it.
Right.
Like the whole thing is give them what they enjoy and give them a lot of it.
Right.
And then, like, I was always thinking about, like, Opie and Anthony or Howard Stern or something like, they do it every day.
Right.
Why not do it every day?
Right.
Do it as many days as you can.
Right.
And then once the show started getting popular, it was helping guys with ticket sales. It was easy to get people to come on.
Right.
Because for the first few, it was like Segura, I'd have guys come on. They didn't even want to do it. Like Segura, there's a funny fucking clip where Segura was talking about it on the Comedy Store documentary where he was saying in the beginning, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you have a TV show and here you're fucking alone in your house in some weird room with us smoking pot and talking shit into some weird internet show.
Yeah.
But I had an idea. I was like, I think if you just keep going, it could be bigger.
Right.
Like, if you keep going, it'll reach more people. If you keep going, you'll get better at it.
Right.
And then eventually it'll be something that, I mean, I didn't think it would ever make any money. That's what's crazy.
Right.
I thought at the most it would do is like it would help ticket sales on the road.
Right.
Then we got a sponsor, the Fleshlight. You know, that was the first sponsor.
Yeah, I have a flashlight.
That fucking tube that you have sex with.
Yeah, you fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You ever fuck one of those
You
things?
fucked it? I fucked it. Yeah. That's not cheating, technically, if you're
I
fucking a
don't think
fleshlight.
so.
No.
It feels like you're cheating,
Yeah.
though. It feels so good. Especially when you just like, you soak it in warm water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you soaked it in warm water.
Oh, yeah. You soak it in warm
you treat
water.
it like
feels
bear.
it feels
Yeah.
like a pussy.
Treat it like bear meat.
Yeah. You just sous vide it.
You just did a fucking free ad for them.
Dude, I did 100 ads for them at least. Hundreds.
Yeah.
We did constant ads for them, and every one of them would be like these long, rambling discussions of nutting
Yeah.
into these weird rubber tubes. It's not even rubber. I don't even know what's made out of, some weird gelatin or something like that. It feels very, very realistic.
It does, huh?
Yeah.
I've never fucked one, but I'm not opposed to it. I'm
should try
curious. Yeah. Maybe I'll get one.
There's something about it being contained in that can, too, that keeps it tight,
Yeah.
you know? Because there's only so much expansion.
Right.
Feel me?
There's no babies coming in there.
That's right.
Oh, coming out of there to stretch it
Clean
out.
it up,
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
Do you put hot butter in there? Or like, how do you make it warm?
Soak it in water.
But when you take it out, it's dry. I mean, you need
But
some.
it's warm.
Yeah, but you need some fluid
Oil.
in there.
They have oil. They have like lubes. You squirt lube in there.
Nothing's better than the real thing, though.
No, of course not.
Self-lubricating holes.
Well, also people liking you and wanting to have sex with you. That's a big part
good
of
one.
it.
There's a body attached to
Yes.
it. You didn't
Well,
feel
and
a little weird?
personality. Yeah, you feel a little
You feel
weird.
like Ed Gein for a second?
You know when you feel weird? Right after you come. You're like, what is wrong with me? You know? You're like, oh, this feels so good. And you're like, ugh, get your shit together, loser.
It's so funny how out the door reason is while you're jacking off, and
Yeah.
then how quickly it rushes in when you're done.
Yeah, well, that's the
You just
thing
see
about...
yourself there. There's fucking your pants around your ankles. And you have for some reason you have this moment. You see yourself. It's like a moment where you just go like, ugh.
It's the biological trick. You know, the biological trick where your body wants to get rid of cum
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. I mean, that's why there's so many humans. That's why there's almost 8 billion people on this planet. It's
Yeah.
because people want to get rid of cum.
Yeah.
And your body has you convinced that this is the most important thing for you to do right now.
Yeah. There's no feeling like it. I mean, people blow their whole lives away with
Oh,
bad
yeah.
decisions for it. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, really wealthy people.
Yes.
Look at fucking Bezos, right?
Yeah.
He loses, what did he lose, like 39 billion in his divorce settlement?
Yes.
But his new gal is smoking.
Yeah. I mean,
She's a predator.
Yeah.
You look at her and you're like, Jesus, that's an alpha predator female.
yeah. But the puss
Oh
got
my
it. Puss is
God.
probably incredible because girls like that, you got to respect. They know that that's their job. Like I think gold diggers don't get enough credit.
That's what I'm saying.
They put a lot of work into that.
Why don't they teach that?
They
if you
should.
think about business school,
Yeah.
what is a great business move? Like there's things that people will teach you. They'll teach you startups. Like startups don't always work. How about restaurant businesses? There's schools on restaurants. 60% of them fail.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
very difficult to start a restaurant. But there's a thought about doing a restaurant as a business. Stockbrokers, they don't give a fuck about the companies. They're just trying to make money, right? They're just moving things and shit. And the whole idea is to gain money in your portfolio, right? That's the whole thing. But gold digging is a huge way to make money if you're good at it.
Oh yeah.
If you think about successful, now I'm not saying that every woman who got divorced from her husband and made a shit ton of money is a gold digger, but literally most millionaires and billionaires that are females are from divorce.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even debatable.
Right.
Like what percentage of the richest women in the world come from divorce? It's a lot. There's some women that are self-made. Don't get me
Oprah.
wrong.
Oprah.
Oprah's self-made. The lady who started that Bumble, that website,
Yeah.
self-made.
The twins, the Olsen twins.
I don't know about that. They're kids.
Yeah, but they have like a massive company. They're close to billionaires.
Oh, after they started something new?
After when they started their shit, yeah.
Like what percentage of women ultra rich got their money from divorce?
Probably a lot. I mean,
You think 90?
no, I don't know about 90.
99?
I was going the other way. I don't think
know
it's
what
that
you
high.
would do.
Yeah. You're going close to 100.
I think
I
the
mean, you're not giving women
ultra-rich-
any credit.
It's not that I'm not giving them any credit. I think that, listen, no doubt about it. There's a shitload of women that have made millions, if not billions of dollars on their own. But I think if you looked at the bulk,
I just picture you coming home with your Spotify deal, just like hide it from your wife for as long as you can. They gave me about 50 G's, 60.
And she gets a newsletter. Hey, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Tiger Woods got fucking hammered.
He did get hammered.
Hammered.
Yeah. But
Jeff Bezos hammered.
Yeah,
Bill
but-
Gates going to get hammered. He's donating to a new foundation called Melinda Gates.
the Bill Gates one is weird, right? Because you know there's like some stories attached to that one. The Jeff Bezos one is pretty straightforward, right? He had an affair with a smoking hot woman.
Yeah.
And you kind of get it. You know, you see it, you're like, well, maybe the thrill was gone, their relationship, and they had kids together, and they had a long relationship, and then all of a sudden he meets this fucking firecracker
Yeah.
of a woman.
Yeah.
Woo.
And yeah, I mean, nobody will ever convince me that the most powerful thing in the world is not a woman's puss. It's
Well,
number one.
It's a woman's whole essence, right? An attractive woman. Like I've said this before, but an attractive woman with an unattractive man who's never experienced the love of an attractive woman, they have an insane amount of influence. It's a drug.
Right.
When you're around like some ultra woman like that, and you've never experienced, she's got a little waist and a big ass and big tits and a perfect face, you're like,
Yeah.
and she's nice to you,
Yeah.
and she touches you and she thinks you're cute, and you know, they got that whole thing.
that sexual energy, that kind of seductive sexual energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every cell in your body
Wants
is
it.
like that.
It's like a steak.
Get
and
that.
You're hungry, yeah.
Get that.
Yeah, and they do work hard. They have to work on their body. They have to have sex with
Yes.
someone they don't love.
That's a good
That's
point.
That's a
good point.
There's a lot of maintenance that goes into that.
Business decision.
They got to shoo away all the other
Hoes.
gold digger hoes trying to get there. Hell yeah.
Some low rent hoes trying to take your spot.
Fuck that.
That's why nobody hates whores more than gold diggers.
Yes.
I've
I
been
hate 'em.
sucking on this stale dick for years. You think you're gonna come along and suck it for $2,000?
Yeah.
I've been working on the long game.
Yeah. Yeah.
The long game. The long game is billions.
Yes. Yes. It's a job, man.
Of course
It's a job. That maintenance, that type of she fucks that guy, she's going to work. She's clocking in.
Yeah, like if some hot potato is fucking Rupert Murdoch or someone like that, like that's a job.
That's a job,
That's
dude.
a job.
I mean, one of my favorite, I posted every Valentine's Day, is Anna Nicole Smith with
Oh
that.
yes, J. Howard Marshall.
True Love. Yeah, J. Howard Marshall.
Yeah, I had a whole bit about the two of them together. People were like, that poor man, she's just using it for his money. I'm like, that guy made $1 billion from scratch.
Yeah.
You don't think he knows?
He knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows.
He
knows
knows,
what's going
dude.
on. That guy's smart.
Yeah. I mean, he was like 90-something,
Yeah.
and he knows.
Yeah, was an oil tycoon, right? Wasn't he?
I don't remember how he made his money, but
It was the
I know
best.
how he spent it. Well, I know how she spent it.
Yeah. Well, she didn't live long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there was probably something to that. Like, there's probably some sadness and some drug abuse that was connected to living your life like that.
I think there was I think she was doing drugs. Yeah. I think she was doing those pills.
Man, the pills.
Yeah. I don't know
Fucking
why.
pills.
I mean, you made it. You got all that money. You made it.
Yeah, but there's sadness involved in like a hollow life. The thing about
But isn't there sadness in all of our lives? Like, isn't it just better to have a guy's money?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe she read it wrong. You know, it's like, hey, I'm sad too, but I don't have this.
Well,
I
she's
would have sucked that
probably-
guy's dick for his money.
Maybe, right?
I would have.
Depends on how much money he's willing to give you.
I don't know, if it, fucking for me, give what
$700 million.
$700 million.
You suck a cock.
Of course. Are you joking?
How many cocks would you suck for $700 million?
A million of them.
A million
I don't give
cocks?
a fuck. Yeah, I don't give a
You know how many
shit.
cocks? A million would take so many. There's 365 days in the year. How many dicks are you going to suck in a day? And how many years?
Well, for how? I mean, if you give me $700 mil,
Dude, I think you'd be better off with like 1 million. I think you can get that on your own.
I'm going for it. Well, tell me what the details are.
Brian Callen said something to me once, and it's really important. It's just true. He goes, all you want is to be able to go to a restaurant and buy whatever you want to eat and not think about it. He goes, that's real money. He goes, everything else is bullshit. He goes, you get
Depends on
used
the
to your
restaurant,
house.
though. I go into McDonald's and I feel that way. So, I mean, he needs to get specific.
He means not worry about the bill. Like,
Right.
oh, can I pay for this?
Right.
You know, a good bill at a restaurant's a couple $100. But if you can go to a restaurant and not think about it, just spend and give a nice tip and feel good.
Yeah.
That's not that hard if you live in your means and you're successful. That's real success.
Yeah.
Be able to like send your kids to college, to be able to pay your mortgage. Everything else is kind of bullshit.
I mean, I joke around, but I agree with you. I think money's great, but I do think in this country, it's kind of a disease where people think about it too much, where it's like the real, like when I almost thought I was going to die when I got shot that one time, I was like, you think about the people you love, you think about your life. It's like a job's a job. I mean, if it was fun, they wouldn't call it work.
Right.
It's like there's very few of us who get to do the things we love, and even we're not happy all the time. It's like nobody's happy on this planet. It's like find yourself friends, find yourself life, find things you enjoy doing. It's not all about money. Like to be happy is not about getting all the money in the world.
No,
It's cliche, but it's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true. Life is complicated. What's really important is friends and loved ones. Family and loved ones are everything.
It's the only true currency.
Yeah. Dude, when I have like a cookout at my house and have people over that I love and we're having a glass of wine and laughing and hanging out by the pool and just putting your feet up and just telling stories and just laughing, it doesn't get any better.
It's number one.
It's everything.
Number
it's
one.
A friendship and love and family is everything.
Yeah.
It's really like if you don't have that, that's why I was talking about like these comics that are islands, that all want it to be all about them.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. There's these guys, they never develop these tight bonds with other people where they can be vulnerable, they could be friendly and supportive and have like real love between other comics and other peers. They're sad, fucking angry, bitter, twisted people. And it's so hard to see, man.
I think also they don't want to push themselves out of their comfort zone and be insecure.
Yeah.
Be around somebody who's bigger, be around somebody who's more successful. You have to be humble and, you have to challenge yourself to be around new experiences and new people.
You have to be open to looking at these other individuals as what they are and not comparing them to you. When you work with someone, like when I work with Chappelle, for instance, like Chappelle has this new bit that he's doing about the Me Too movement that is so goddamn good that it's one of those movements, it's one of those bits rather where there's an instinct to get jealous. Like, why didn't I think of that one? God damn it.
I felt that way about your hyena bit because I love hyenas. I was like, fuck, that is so good, man. A female-run world. We have evidence of it.
Yeah, it's
real. Fucked.
It's fucked.
It's fucking hilarious bit, man. I love it.
Thank you. But there's these moments where you go, but instead of that, I just appreciate him, first of all, as a person. Dave is a beautiful person. He is one of the genuinely nicest, kindest people I've ever met in my life. And with everybody. He's just sweet and kind. And when he's doing that bit, I just appreciate that I'm watching a rare gem. I'm watching a rare thing. I'm like, wow, that's my friend up there. Like, look at him go. Look at him go. Look at him go. And look at crying, laughing. I was watching him at the MGM, and it was me and my business manager, Matt, and who's also family. I've been with him for 25 years or something like that. And we're laughing like, Jesus Christ. And I'm just thinking, God, how beautiful is this? It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see someone who's like, Dave is arguably the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He's in that running.
For sure.
I mean, when he dies, they're going to put him right there with Pryor. They're going to put him right there with all those guys.
For sure.
And to
hands down.
And to watch him and he's just like, you can compare yourself and you can go, fuck, why isn't that me? Why am I not? But don't. Just do your best.
Right.
Do your best and enjoy what you're seeing there. And just enjoy that. It's magic.
It's an evolved way, and you have to be secure to do that.
It's hard to be secure, man. It requires effort and work. You can't just be secure. You can't just be comfortable with things. You got to work at it. It's like everything else in life. You got to work at being nice. I've worked hard at being nice. And when I got into comedy in my early 20s and when I was 21, I was not nice. I was coming from a competitive fighting background, and it was beneficial for me to be mean. Like there was a certain amount of meanness that you had to have to go out and attack somebody. It's like that's what it is. You're trying to hurt somebody. There's meanness, and to shift over to comedy and to realize like you gotta let that go, like abandon that. But then I was like, well, how do I fucking placate these demons inside me? And then I'm like, oh, you just do it with hard work. Right. Just figure out just hard exercise, just brutal exercise. Exercise those demons out.
Right.
And then you could be nice. And it's better for everybody. It's better for you. It's better for the people you meet. It's better for everybody.
Right.
It can be done.
Right. It's a lot of people don't do it. I mean, you are a nice guy.
I try really hard.
Yeah, you're a nice guy. It's like comics talk about that. It's like, and when you see all these articles and stuff, those people don't know you at all. You know, I mean, like as a person, you're a good dude. You're like a nice guy. You help a lot of people out. Pretty reasonable when you sit down and speak to you. You know.
I try real hard. Thank you. I try real hard. I work at it. I really do work at it. You can cherry pick from anybody and find moments when they weren't nice, and you can definitely find some from me. But I try. I try real hard.
Is that something that comes with success, though? Or like, because
it helps.
I can see why guys get bitter when they don't.
Yes.
Like when you miss a boat, or you know, a lot of times success isn't even. Sometimes it's the luck of a person being somewhere at the right time.
For sure.
Sometimes failure is just the person was unlucky in that they were at the wrong time. Like
there's that, but
yeah,
there's
they
also
get swept away
sometimes
by cultural forces.
For sure. There's also times where excuse me, when sometimes people get some success and then they get either lazy or they get self-indulgent. Self-indulgent is really common. You know, that's a fucking hard one to avoid. You got to avoid that one, the self-indulgent one, because you want to pat yourself on the back and you want to like look at all the things but you can't. There's no benefit in that. It's the devil's trick.
Right.
It really is.
I guess you got to remind yourself that none of us are in control. Nature is.
Nature
that keeps
is.
Everybody humble.
Well, you've been shot.
Yeah.
You know, you were. I mean, you talked about it before on the podcast, and you know, anybody who knows you who's listening to you talk about it. Like you got close to death, and I think when someone has been close to death, they have more of an appreciation if you can recapture the way you felt at that moment.
I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
It changed everything. It's like changes your perspective on everything, and it changes what you view as valuable. Mm-hmm. You just freedom, time, hard laughs, like you said, loving people. Those things. It's cliche and it sounds stupid, but I'll tell you what, it's true.
It's 100% true.
Because when you're in that moment, you ain't gonna be thinking about your bank account.
No. You're going to be thinking about survival, and you know it's just so easy to get. You know, the human brain is not designed for the modern world. The human brain evolved trying to run away from predators and trying to find food, and it requires problems. The human brain looks for problems. It looks for conflict. It looks for all these things. And you know, ego exists because you want your genes to pass on. It's the only way that the human race is successful. You have to propagate. You have to figure out a way to pass your genes. And the way that the body has figured out a way to enforce that is a little bit of a trap, and that's the ego. The ego, part of the thing is you feeling so good about yourself that you think you should be passed on. Mm-hmm. You know, that you think your genes should keep going, that you should be the one that gets the girl. Yeah. You know?
It makes us and it breaks. It's like the same thing that takes you down is the thing that makes you. There's no way out of here.
There's no way out of here. It's insanely complicated. It's a puzzle that you have to constantly invest time in solving. Right. You never think you got it nailed.
That's the thing. You have to constantly check yourself and check it and push yourself, and it's and that's why I have such a problem. I think we all do with people who make these big. Like categorical statements like this is the answer, and like that's what all these people do on Twitter now. That's what all these media headlines and articles are about. This is what it is. Yeah. This is who Joe Rogan is. You're like, are you fucking
right?
I mean, nobody's that. Nothing is that.
Right.
Nothing's like defined like that except for like math. You know what I mean? Can't say people are changing every minute. Things are dynamic. It's not.
Yeah.
Everyone's like claiming to have ownership of what things are. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe more people aren't more skeptical of people who want to be out there.
I think they're being more skeptical of it now than ever because I think overall we've never really had anything like social media before where you get to see people virtue signal and get to see people put out this sort of these words and these messages designed to get people to like them, designed to get people to literally hit that like button or hit that retweet button. I mean, that's what is he ratioed? Right. Did that tweet get ratioed? Right. And people get obsessed with that stuff.
We're like, it's like that's the biggest driving force now for the generations coming up, which is scary.
Yeah.
It's like, because you create a version of yourself that's not true. And it's almost like you're in entertainment business when you're not. But everyone's in entertainment business, which is scary because I've met a lot of people in entertainment business and they're fucking horrible people.
It's not a good business to develop your your emotional intelligence in. It's such a tricky business, and the business is so disingenuous from top to bottom. From executives to casting directors to actors to, everything, to the press. So all of it is just, it's not about finding truth and being compassionate. It's about bullshit and celebrating people for all the weirdest reasons.
Right. A look or, whatever it may be.
Whatever it is.
It's the opposite of trying to find from truth. Actually, I think if there's an opposite of searching for truth or honesty, it's entertainment.
Yeah, but also sometimes not. Like sometimes entertainment is like pure honesty. Like sometimes you'll meet someone who's like a pure artist, and you have this like, oh, okay.
Well, when they do that, they're never thinking about reconciling themselves with the marketplace.
No.
It's just they create something so incredible that the marketplace comes to it because we're all watching something that's incredible art.
My friend who's my best example of that is Gary Clark Jr. Gary Clark Jr., do you know Gary Clark Jr.? He's one of the greatest guitarists who's ever lived. And that motherfucker doesn't give a shit about fame. He doesn't give a fuck. I mean, like, genuinely doesn't think about it at all. When you talk to him, he's all just talking about his music. He's just talking about, like, creating and doing this and changing that. And he's, like, so soft-spoken, and he doesn't want attention at all. And then when that guy gets on the guitar, he's magical. Magical, man. Magical. He's so good. He's so good.
It's ironic that it's just weird that like that's not the most famous stuff.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking famous. He played in front of 20,000 people.
Well, he's famous.
Jamie, you saw him last night, right? How good is that motherfucker? He's
Now,
so good.
Do you think if he was like Rolling Stones known, it would kind of ruin that
I
in
don't
him?
know. He doesn't give a fuck about it. It's not going to happen. He doesn't want to.
Right.
He doesn't care.
Right.
He like genuinely doesn't care.
Right.
He makes plenty of money.
Right.
He's got a beautiful wife and a happy family and everything.
That's
like
the
that.
best.
That's him last night.
Oh, so he's not.
That was in Austin last night. Mm-hmm. God damn, look at all those people.
That's a lot of people.
That can't just be 20,000 people. That looks like a lot more.
It was pretty spread out. There's people sitting down and shit.
Yeah, but how many people is that? Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a fuckload.
There's a lot. There's a lot. It's the most I've seen in an area in a while.
It's a fuckload of people. But he's just like, he's a real artist. And when you are around a real artist, you watch a real artist perform, it comes through. Like we saw him, Jamie and I saw him at Antone's in Austin. It was like, how many people were in that audience? 150?
That was, way, way, way less.
Yeah, that was in the early days of the pandemic, where everybody caught the cooties that night.
Mm-hmm. Oh, everybody got it.
Yeah, someone had it, and they were in the green room, and they spread it around to everybody.
You didn't get it though, right?
No.
You got that fucking tiger blood.
I do a lot of things to avoid it, between all the vitamins I take and sauna use and all the wild shit that I do and taking peptides and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've ducked it.
Which, for the record, is not officially what takes it away.
What?
Saunas.
Doesn't take it away?
Like officially, taking a sauna is not going to prevent you from getting it.
I don't know.
You may have the blood type or something that doesn't get it, or
there's a study that actually just came out about viral infections rather, and sauna use. I'll send this to you.
Do you sauna alone, or do you have?
Nobody's gonna go in there with me.
Because the Swedes, you go up there, the whole family is there naked.
I mean, I'll go in occasionally with my wife, but I like to deep breathe, and it gets uncomfortable if someone's in the room with me. I take these big, long, slow, deep breaths, and then I let it out. It's like, here, I'll find this thing. The article was about sauna linked to longer life and sauna linked to, here, if I can find this thing here.
The Scandinavians been doing it for how long? Many years. There's got to be something to it, right?
Yeah. Here, I'll send it to you, Jamie. Well, in Finland, they did a study where they linked it to a 40% decrease in all-cause mortality, 175 degrees for 20 minutes 4 times a week, 40% decrease in strokes, cancer, heart attack, everything.
So
Turning up the heat on COVID-19, heat as a therapeutic intervention. And this is a medical paper that was published, and the whole idea is about when your body gets sick, when you get a viral infection, one of the things that happens is you get a fever, and what the fever is your body trying to kill the virus, and the way your body can kill the virus is to make sure that your body temperature is so hot the virus can't survive it. So
That makes sense with the sauna.
right. So I do that
Right.
on purpose.
Right.
So I'm getting to 200 degrees sometimes, 4 days a week at least.
Dude, if you want to beat the virus, move to Phoenix.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Just
maybe
lay on,
those people
lay
don't
on the
get it.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a like you have to get isolated, and I think the thing that's so beneficial about the sauna is that you're trapped in this room and you can't survive at 195 degrees for very long. You can only do it for 25 minutes or whatever it is.
Right.
And in doing that, the heat shock proteins that your body produces create all these anti-inflammatory properties, but also it just kills things.
Right. Because of the heat, because of
Yeah.
the level of the heat. Right.
You're fucking sweating like crazy in there.
And probably ice baths do the same thing because of the temperature, right? Like everything is.
I would imagine there's some benefit there. I know there's some benefit with cold shock proteins that reduce inflammation, but I don't know if it works the same way with viruses.
Right.
But did you see that paper that I sent you?
I didn't get a link, but I found it too.
I just sent it to you. Didn't it come through?
I just got it.
Oh, it
But
came
yeah, I
through.
have the same. I'm looking at it anyway.
Yeah, so there's people that are considering all sorts of different things, and this is one of them, turning up the heat on COVID-19. Heat as a therapeutic intervention. And so this is a peer-reviewed paper, I believe, and it's all about the idea of, stop right there, SARS-CoV-2 are sensitive to heat and destroyed by temperatures tolerable to humans. All mammals use fever to deal with infections, and heat has long been used throughout human history in the form of hot springs, saunas, I don't know what hammams?
Yeah.
Steam rooms, sweat lodges. The paper reviews the evidence for using heat to treat and prevent viral infections and discuss potential cellular, physiological, and psychological mechanisms of action. In the initial phase of infection, heat is applied to the upper airways, and it can support the immune system's first line of defense by supporting mucociliary clearance and inhibiting or deactivating virons where they first lodge. This may be further enhanced by the inhalation of steam containing essential oils with antiviral, mucolytic, and antilytic.
They make medical words.
Anxiolytic
They make
properties.
it so hard, the words.
Heat applied to the whole body can further support the immune system's second line of defense by mimicking fever and activating innate and acquired immune defenses and building physiological resilience. I guarantee it has something to do with it, man. I know so many fucking people around me that have gotten COVID while I didn't get it. I'm not saying it's 100% the reason why, because I think it's a combination of a lot of other things. I take a shitload of vitamins.
Right.
And there's a lot of other things that I do. I make sure I get rest, and I exercise all the time. A lot of cardiovascular exercise, weightlifting, all that stuff. But,
Right. You're a healthy guy.
But I think the sauna has an effect, man. There's no way it doesn't. It makes you feel great.
Yeah. It's definitely good for you. They
Yes.
know that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they know that it is good for you whether you're trying to fight a virus or not, or avoid a virus, or it's good for you.
Yeah, and there has been studies about decrease in viral infections from people that use sauna. I think they showed a 50% decrease in people that use saunas on a regular basis are 50% less likely. I forget that study, though. Forget where that study came from.
But if it was true, though, then they'd, like Sweden wouldn't have had a problem with COVID because they all sauna.
Do they all?
It's like
I doubt they
a
all.
lot of them sauna.
I bet a lot of them do.
Yeah.
What does that mean? A lot of Americans play football. I don't play football.
That's
you know what I'm
true.
saying? It's like,
Yeah.
what is all? Like, you're known for hot dogs in America. How many
Yeah.
people eat hot dogs here? I haven't had a hot dog in years.
You're the exception.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
People eat a lot of
right.
people eat hot dogs.
But Americans are known for hot dogs cured COVID. No Americans would have hot dogs. There's fucking millions of Americans that go years without hot dogs.
I'd be curious, how many Swedes take sauna?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, but they have a capita, one per household.
I mean, that's a lot,
What?
dude. Yeah, I told you.
Right, but I have one in my household. My fucking kids never go in there.
That's true.
While it's partially cellular, it's also responsible because of the weather. Finnish winters are the low of 35 degrees Celsius. Yikes.
It's a cultural thing from them. They go in
Yeah.
the whole family. Grandma's titties are there. Like everyone sees each other as naked. You know, it's like
Yeah.
they would when I would go perform there when I started, like early in my comedy career, I would go there and perform, And they would invite me into the sauna, and I just wasn't comfortable enough to be naked with them.
Yeah, why they have to be naked? They can't wear underwear? The fucking weirdos?
They're cool with it. Like, they're just cool with it.
Check out cocks.
They just check out cock. They're just different. They like saunas. They drink, dude. They're like gremlins. The finish, they're nice and cute and cuddly. During the day, they're shy. They don't make eye contact. They're very nice. And then they drink and they become fucking assholes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Their personalities change like crazy.
Like in what way?
They just become like caustic and kind of like aggressive.
Really?
Yeah.
To you or to everybody?
To me, to everybody, they become animals. Yeah, they're like gremlins. You pour a little fucking liquor on them, they change.
Wow.
It's wild, dude. I don't think they have. I remember reading somewhere that Northern Europeans struggle more with alcohol and don't have as good a tolerance as Southern Europeans, because Southern Europeans have had alcohol for a lot longer, similar to the Asians who don't do great with it either, Native Americans. There's some enzyme or some shit that like Southern Europeans have, and that's why we have less of an incidence of alcoholism than the Northern Europeans, who can't handle their liquor because they're fucking animals.
I would think that it's also because of like the depression that comes from the lack of sunshine.
They have the highest suicide rate. Highest suicide rates in one of those countries, Norway, Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, they off themselves.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's just dark all the time.
Fuck that. Well, that's the direct correlation between the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah.
High suicide rate up there.
Yep.
Also
Alaska.
high heroin use.
Yeah.
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 Fuck.
That's taken over the whole country, though. Heroin. It's big. Heroin. And you know what's interesting? It kind of got big when we got control of Afghanistan.
That's
means
a
it made it
coincidence.
cheaper.
Don't be an asshole.
Poppy seeds got
total
cheaper.
Coincidence.
Total
Just because the American military was guarding the poppy fields on TV. Did you ever see that video?
No.
Geraldo Rivera interviewing a general while the general was standing in front of, like, literally you're looking at troops guarding poppy fields.
Yeah, it's obvious.
It's like, what?
And then it becomes like the most popular drug in the suburbs in America. It's
Weird.
like affordable. It's kind of weird. Yeah, that one's kind of weird. That one's kind of fucking obvious.
It's not just obvious. It goes all the way back to the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
There it is. So, Geraldo, play some of this because it's kind of hilarious. Fighting the opium trade. What?
Here. The Taliban lend the farmers the money. They are indebted to the Taliban. They have to grow the opium. Now the Marines, in their success, are in a sense a victim of their success, because now the population is, they have these opium fields, and we are tolerating it. We are tolerating the cultivation of the opium because we know that if we were to destroy it now, the population would turn against the Marines, and it would be a real security risk. Let me introduce Lieutenant Colonel Brian Christmas.
What a
He's the
spin.
commanding officer of
Listen to the spin.
the 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines. Really a wonderful group of Marines here. I
Wonderful
know that
group
you
of
care deeply
heroin guards.
about this contradiction, the fact that here you have one of the best fighting forces in the world ever mounted, and in a sense you're watching as this opium is being grown. I know it grinds at your gut.
How do you know it grinds at his gut? Yeah. Listen.
Well, frankly, this is a part of their culture. So while it might grind in my gut, it's what they do. We provide them security, we're providing them resources, and we're providing them alternatives.
And they provide us with a kickback when we sell it.
Getting the seed and the fertilizer to do it.
Did you ever see when Sturgill Simpson got on Saturday Night Live? He sang a song that talked about protecting the heroin trade.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
They probably got a piece of that. No? We'll protect, just give us a little
Something
envelope.
is being exchanged. People are making money. Who are those people? I don't know, but there's obviously a lot of money in heroin.
And
they're not growing it for fun.
No, and it's killing like suburban kids. Like I have my wife's friend was like this nice kid, and like he died from a heroin overdose. And like the people who are dying from heroin overdoses now don't look like your stereotypical heroin user from like the 80s. They look like just normal kids, and they're in high school, and they come from good families, and for some reason they're doing fucking heroin.
Well, it's also very contradictory. It's confusing because the real solution is probably legalization of everything across the board. That's probably the real solution.
Usage, for sure.
Because the problem is you have these cartels that are bringing this stuff into America illegally, and they're also spiking everything with fentanyl because it's cheaper, so they cut things, and so these kids get a hold of people that are addicted. They get a hold of this fentanyl-laced shit and have these fucking horrible overdoses, And the reason why they're overdosing is because it's illegal, because you don't know what the exact dosage is. Like, people are going to overdose from alcohol. They're going to die from it. But if you buy a bottle of this, how do you say that name?
Lafroig.
Lafroig.
It's
very good, right?
Very good.
peaty.
If you're into smoky, peaty.
I love that stuff.
Scotch, yeah.
You know what it is. One shot is one shot, right? It's not one shot with fentanyl in it.
Right.
It might kill you. These kids are getting a hold of this stuff. These people, I should say. It's not just kids. They're getting a hold of this stuff, and it's laced.
Right.
Why is it laced? It's laced because it's unregulated. Why is it unregulated? Because it's illegal.
Right.
Why is it illegal? Because we have a fucking war on substances that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's a war on freedom, essentially. Your freedom to do whatever you want with your body.
Right. No, it's that's a well documented argument. I think Portugal, right? They legalized,
decriminalize everything.
Decriminalize the usage of it, but it's still illegal to sell it.
Right.
Which seems like a pretty reasonable way to handle it.
Yeah.
Like if you're dealing it, that's bad because we know that it's bad for people, but we can't criminalize the users of it. Those people are sick and they're addicted. Like, they're not committing a crime to anyone else. They're hurting themselves.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But why is it legal to sell? Like Carl Hart, I bring up way too often on the podcast, but I do it because I love him. Dr. Carl Hart, who's a professor at Columbia, he talks about how he likes heroin, he enjoys it, but he gets pure heroin, he sniffs it.
Does he microdose it or he goes
Just
full
sniffs
blown?
it.
Wow.
You have to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
But it's when you talk about his perspective, his perspective is he was a clinical researcher and had this idea of drugs, that drugs are terrible for you. But along the line, doing his research, he realized that the propaganda about what drugs are is very different than the actual drugs themselves.
Interesting.
And he likes drugs.
Right.
And he talks about, like, what you can use drugs and be happy and successful. He's like, it's not the problem. The problem is a lack of education, a lack of understanding about the actual effects of these drugs, propaganda.
I mean, Freud used to sniff blow. Just to
I'm
blow
sure.
lines.
Some weird fucking ideas, too.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you said you haven't seen the show The Wire before.
No,
yes.
I've never seen the whole.
So there's a concept in
I was
season
thinking about that.
3 or 4
you
called
fucking phone
It's Tim
again.
Dillon, actually.
Is it?
He was calling,
that
yeah.
twat.
It's
Yeah.
called they call this section of an area of town called Amsterdam, like Amsterdam, where what you're saying is allowed. The police blocked off a couple blocks. They said it's free. No gangs allowed to fight in here. They protected that area for drug users. So I just was Googling that because I thought I'd heard something about this.
Where is this?
Happening.
It's the show The Wire.
Fictional in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
However, there's a press release that came out from the state attorney in Baltimore where they said they're no longer, it says, in quotes, today, America's war on drug users is over in the city of Baltimore. We leave behind the tough on-crime prosecution and zero-tolerance policing. They said down here they're going to stop prosecuting the following offenses.
Whoa. Drug possession, attempted distribution of, what is controlled substances? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Paraphernalia possession, prostitution, trespassing, minor trespassing is a problem. You can't just have people trespassing in people's houses. Minor traffic offenses, great. Open containers, great. Rogue and vagabond.
Probably just homeless
Urinating
people
and defecating in public. Maybe you should probably stop people from shitting in
It added
public.
that too, yeah, but the rest of it is...
You know, like, guys, feel free to shit on Main Street. It's wide open. Furthermore, during this past year, they have dismissed 1,423 pending cases considered eligible by COVID policies, quashed 1,415 warrants for aforementioned offenses, pushed Governor Hogan to reduce the prison population, resulting in 2 executive orders of the early release of 2,000 people.
Violent crimes down, property crime down.
It's been successful, yeah.
That's amazing. Violent crime down 20%, property crime down 36% during the same period of March 13th, 2020 to March 13th, 2021. That's amazing. Well, that's good, except I'm down with all those things except for shitting in the street and breaking into people's houses. The data show that 911 calls about drug use, public intoxication, and sex work, a proxy for public concern, did not increase when following the policy. Rather, from March until December 2020, there was a 33% reduction in calls mentioning drugs and a 50% reduction in calls mentioning sex work. Who's calling and ratting on people getting laid?
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos.
You know, that was The Wire, dude. They like teach classes about that at Harvard. Like, it was an exceptional show.
Yeah, I know it was a really good show,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of people. Bourdain always raved about it. I just never got around to watching it.
What he was mentioning was like, yeah, the police in an episode decide, all right, this is how we're going to handle drugs, and they like de facto district like a block where they allow it to happen, and it works. Like, so they go like, okay, you can do that here. So they controlled it, and like, you couldn't do it outside of the de facto district that the cops created. And then it just like crime went down, things were, because they were like, we're not going to stop this. People are going to get high.
Didn't New York City recently decriminalize prostitution?
I know they decriminalized gambling. I don't know about, because
Did
they
they
need
really?
the money. Yeah,
Gambling.
they need the money.
But did they make it legal?
I think they made it legal.
Like what kind of gambling?
I think sports gambling.
Oh.
I think they did. I think they decriminalized gambling.
I like that.
And they taxed
it.
Yeah, tax it.
Why
man.
not?
Yeah, I don't know about prostitution.
New York City sex workers rampant in open-air prostitution market amid lax enforcement. I think it's not just lax enforcement. Google New York City decriminalizes prostitution. That girl has a very nice ass for a prostitute. NYPD issues new guidance after repeal of walking while trans law. What is that? Walking while trans law.
I think that's
NYPD officers are told to no longer arrest people who appear to be loitering for prostitution in response to repeal of New York State's walking while trans law.
Does that mean you're walking while you're transsexual?
I guess.
So
But I thought they decriminalized prostitution. I think that was like an order.
It says effective immediately. Officers may not arrest an individual for this charge. All other crimes related to prostitution under Article 230 in New York remain in effect.
Oh, well, you know what, man? I think people should be able to do whatever they want to do.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
want anybody to be a prostitute, but why?
I do. Get that money, girl.
Why can't you if you want to?
Yeah, it's a job.
Who was I talking to? We were talking about people who fuck guys for money. Ari, right? Yeah. Yeah. Ari was saying that there's girls that he knows that will have sex with. Was it Ari? No, it wasn't Ari. It wasn't Ari. It was some. I don't know. Anyway, they were saying that they know people who fuck a certain number of guys that they're kind of friendly with
For money.
and that's how they make a living. And they only look if you can get a guy to pay you $1,000 or $2,000 every time you have sex, which is a lot of money, and you only have to do it a couple times a week.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Why is that so terrible? If you get to choose,
I don't see why it's bad at all. I can't think of one reason why it's bad at all. I really can't.
you can fuck them for free.
Yeah.
Why can't you fuck them for money?
If you're an adult making that decision,
Right.
You legalize prostitution, you get rid of the trade, you get rid of the illegal trade, you get rid of
Sex trafficking.
I mean, it's going to happen anyway. It's the oldest profession. I mean, that's why I think ultimately beautiful women are still around, because it's evolutionary theory. If you think about it, smart chicks who are not that good looking, if there's a war or a famine, you can't do anything with like a sociology thesis, but you can sell pussy. You can always
if
sell
there's
pussy.
a war or a famine, at least they can. But maybe
can
they
earn a
can
living.
innovate. Maybe they can figure out a way to cure the disease.
Maybe, but
they
you
can
could also
develop weapons to fight off assholes.
That's true, but you could also sell your pussy to a warlord and survive.
Good point.
So maybe that's why pretty women still are preferred by the male. I'm just talking as a scientist,
think
which
about
I am.
how much horrible shit went down in Russia while Stalin was there and during World War II. And think about how many hot women come from Russia.
Yeah, there you go. They survive by
Like the
selling
percentage, if there was like a chart of the percentage of hot women from Russia, it would be very high.
They're gorgeous.
Smoking, scary hot, ruin your whole life women.
Yeah. You
Right?
know, it just reminded. I hate when people go, those communists like, communism's never been tried. I'm like, what the fuck? What planet have you been living on? It's been tried a few times. Like, it hasn't been tried in its purest form. It's like nothing exists in its purest form.
No.
You can't even make a perfect circle.
The problem
mathematically.
with communism is they want, ultimately, you want equality of outcome. And equality of outcome is very dangerous because there's not equality of effort. It's like you need incentives to get things done.
Right.
And the way you incentivize someone to get things done is like you can get more if you work harder. You can do more. You can have more things.
Right.
You can do better. You can survive. If you're lazy, you're disincentivized. Like you don't get anything if you're lazy.
Right.
If you don't contribute, you have to contribute.
Right.
And if the problem with communism, And what communism that we're aware of is mostly communist dictatorships. So they force you into these occupations. They tell you what you can and can't do. What's weird about China is that it's kind of a hybrid.
Right, it is. They did that. They opened up the market to kind of, it's a hybrid.
It changed everything.
Yeah, they're doing well because they have some elements of capitalism in there. It's also dangerous because it elevates the group over the individual. And once you start doing that, then an individual just becomes a disposable person subject to the group.
Yeah.
When the group is really just a collection of individuals. So when you do that leap of logic, you're fucked. The individual has no rights. It's just this idea of the group or the nation or,
and
the
it
entity.
discourages creativity.
Totally.
That's the problem. It really discourages creativity, and creativity is so important for a culture to innovate, for a culture to, like, one of the things about America is America's arguably the freest country in the world, but also arguably the most influential worldwide in terms of culture.
Totally. And you know what? When it comes to like music and fashion and stuff like that, you gotta give a shout out to African Americans, most popular culture in the world.
For sure.
That
And the
has-
most influential in terms of cultural, like
mean-
music, art, comedy.
Fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all the way to the east. It's gone all the way to Japan. I mean, breakdancing in Japan. I mean, hip hop culture is like the most prevalent culture. Like black culture is everywhere.
Out of pressure creates diamonds.
It's crazy, dude. Like
Isn't it wild?
like a oppressed minority, an enslaved population here in America, in the West, in the New World, influenced the entire world with
It
their
is
culture.
also wild if you think about how many of the most influential artists that are African Americans came out of oppressive environments.
Yeah.
Came out of bad neighborhoods, came out of gang-infested neighborhoods. Almost all of the best hip-hop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and if you
Projects.
Joe DiMaggio said, there's rich people don't make the big leagues. They, you just can't be rich and make the big leagues. I mean, it goes for sports, it goes for everything. I mean, there's no Bill Laimbeer and basketball is an exception. He came from a wealthy family, but 99.9% of guys that make it to the NBA all come from poor backgrounds because it gives them that drive.
It's really
And
prevalent
that's why
fighting.
we need poverty. You can't have a war on poverty because then you have a war on greatness because that makes people great.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like
Take that,
you,
AOC.
You can't say that, but it's
Kind of true. Yeah. I mean, were you
You
born?
don't
You
want
weren't
it?
born rich.
No.
Yeah. Look at what you became. If you were born rich, you wouldn't be motivated to do any of this shit. You'd be sitting around. You'd be a DJ like the rest of them.
I wonder.
You'd just be a DJ with Michael Douglas's son doing drugs. Doesn't notice like all celebrity sons just become DJs or something
Oh, it's so dangerous.
and drugs.
Tom Hanks' kid's a rapper.
I love that kid.
Is he?
Chet Hanks is one
Like
of my
him?
favorite. I love him.
Really?
I feel like people look at him the wrong way. I feel like in this era of like being a celebrity online and like creating your own thing, I think he's doing better than the other son who looks like Tom Hanks. Because this kid doesn't look like either. He doesn't look like Rita Wilson or Tom.
Does he look like the milkman?
He looks like he was created in a lab. Yeah, he
Whoa,
looks
really?
like everyone from the Mickey Mouse Club. I believe the Mickey Mouse Club. You never know. Like you ever met who's Justin Timberlake's father? We don't know. Never
I
seen
didn't
him.
know if he has a dad.
Exactly, because his fucking mother is Madonna. They took DNA from Madonna. They mixed it with the Bee Gees kids, all three of them, and they fucking made that kid. They're all made. Christina Aguilera, a little fucking Hispanic girl from Pennsylvania, can sing like Aretha Franklin. How's that possible? Without eugenics. Science.
Maybe.
Shaquille O'Neal didn't have a pops. Where's
I
his
think
dad?
he met his dad later in life.
That's the story.
Yeah.
But you tell me a 7-foot guy that can move that fast. LeBron James, where's his dad? Nobody knows. These people are fucking engineers. I'm telling you.
I think they know.
They don't know. LeBron James' dad, look at it. He has no father. He's just his mom. I'm telling you, the government got involved to make these people, like, the way the Russians used to make athletes, we're fucking doing
Let me
it.
ask you this. What do you think about this whole Britney Spears thing and the conservatorship?
Right.
Her dad gets to control like what she spends money on.
I would do the same thing if I fucking dumped if I was your dad and I watched my daughter cheat on Justin Timberlake to marry Kevin Federline, I'd lock that pussy up too and say, girl, you're making bad decisions and you're not capable of thinking on your own.
But why can't a grown adult just be crazy? Like, no one's like, what if someone came along and said to Cat Williams, "Hey, you're just fighting 17-year-olds and you're doing coke and screaming at the audience. You can't. This is not good anymore. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to work this out. Like you're gonna have to have a conservatorship." We'd be like, "What?
Let him go." Yeah.
No,
let him run
you
free.
can never have that.
Right.
You can never have like an African American man who's crazy, who gets controlled by his parents.
Yeah.
Who is an entertainer.
Well, Michael Jackson had a little bit of that.
But not when he was an adult.
No,
when he was
still-
a
broke
child.
free, yeah.
But that arguably fucked him up beyond repair.
He controlled some children. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing with Britney Spears is that she's a girl. She's a woman.
Right.
And we're saying she's crazy. She can't handle things, so let her dad take care of things.
Can't do that anymore.
Could you imagine that if that was a male?
Crazy.
But imagine if you had a dad and your dad said, "Yannis, you have to keep performing in Vegas, and I get whatever I get, $150 a month."
I'm fist fighting him.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's an adult now. They got to revoke that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy that it exists and that it still exists, and like the whole family's in on it too. It's real nefarious. I think the sister, like, is stealing her songs and performing them, like Gallagher's brother. She's
What?
upset about. Yep, look that one up.
It's Britney too?
It's her name's Jamie too. The father's name is Jamie and the sister's name is Jamie. Because it's some
Really?
weird. I'm telling you, the government's involved, man. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, that Mickey Mouse Club, Ryan Gosling with the fucking kid's Canadian, dude. And he's in the Mickey Mouse Club. No father. We don't know about his family. I'm telling you, they made them in labs. And then they become megastars? All of them?
Well, Disney's a factory for megastars.
Factory, dude. But you don't think the government, CIA is involved in that? Project Mickey Mouse?
Maybe.
I'm telling you.
Maybe someone needs to write a book about that.
I'm working on it.
Dude,
Think about it. Justin Timberlake. He can dance.
here?
It's just for
video of Britney looking annoyed at Jamie Lynn singing her song is going viral amid their drama.
And she even mentioned it. She mentioned it like my sister singing my songs. Like, did you see that meltdown she had on Instagram where she cursed them all out and she's saying fucking and motherfucker?
Really?
Yeah.
thing right here. I don't like my sister.
So I quit. I don't like that my sister showed up at an award show and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support system hurt me. Yeah, man, the whole thing is weird.
Dude.
Like, I don't think it would happen if it wasn't a woman. I don't think you would be able to control a man like that. That's what's fucked about this, is like, we're saying that she's helpless, but she's a grown adult. Isn't she like 36 years old or something?
Closer to 40, I think, yeah.
Why are they letting this happen? I don't understand it.
Don't know. Is it California? Is it a California court that did this?
I don't know.
I don't know. But I feel like, yeah, it's an odd thing. Maybe the government knows she knows something and they're keeping her. I mean, dude, think about Justin Timberlake. He can sing, he can dance, he's
Yeah.
good looking,
He can act.
He's a scratch golfer. He's
Is
good
he?
at basketball. He's a scratch golfer.
Really?
How many dudes you know who can do that many things that great? He can sing. He's actually like a good artist. He can play music. He taught himself how to play instruments. Wow. He's handsome. He's a good, funny actor. He can do comedy. Remember that, like, Dick in a Box shit?
Yes.
I mean, the dude has too much talent to be human.
He's a white Jamie Foxx.
Dude, he's a white Jamie Foxx. Where's his father, Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx might be the most talented guy in all of
His
Hollywood.
talent is hard to even fathom.
It's unfathomable. He can sing. He does amazingly accurate impressions.
Crazy.
He does stand-up comedy. He can act. He can do everything.
Yeah.
He can do everything.
It's-
He's going to play Mike Tyson in a movie, and he's getting jacked.
And he'll do it.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
He's jacked.
Right.
He's getting huge.
His when he played Ray Charles, it was like
Amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, his voice is insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's had hit songs.
Yes.
Like, hit songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he could literally do anything he wants.
Yeah. There's some people who are just born with like a unnatural talent that only leads to one place, CIA.
Dude, we're 3 hours in, believe it or not.
Right on. This was a fun. Thanks
Fun
for
as
having me.
fuck. Thank you, my brother.
No, thank
Always.
you. Thank you.
Anytime, my friend.
I appreciate
Tell
this.
everybody all your different podcasts. You got like 34 different podcasts you're doing
No.
simultaneously.
Just the important one is Long Days with Yannis Pappas. That's my solo pod. It's going real well. Please check it out. Long Days with Yannis Pappas. And
Where's it available?
It's available on all podcast apps, and you can watch it on YouTube.
What was that?
YouTube, yeah. It's on YouTube and all the podcast apps. And the new sports podcast with Olivia is called Unleashed, and you can find that wherever you listen to podcasts too. But long days.
Yannis Pappas, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, everybody.